One can never take one's identity from one. One exists for a purpose. Liberals believe life has no purpose. But life has a purpose, and life's purpose is to go forward and to confront that which is before you. And what is before us is cultural dispossession, unless we're prepared to do something about it. What we can do about it will depend upon the circumstances. But what we can do is to remain loyal to our own sense of identity, to our own sense of becoming, to our own sense of what we may be in the future. Most people are truly afraid. They are afraid to open their own mouths in relation to any of these issues. We must not be. We must understand that that degree of fear needs to be conquered in ourselves, as it will be conquered in others. Only when the time comes will we be looked to, if we remain loyal to our vision of ourselves.
Like your chair.
Oh God, yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's got lumbar support.
Bennett. People don't like their politicians to be comfortable. They don't like you having expenses. They don't like you being paid. They'd rather you lived in a fucking cave.
Okay, fine. So, what should I be sitting on? Should I just get an upturned KFC bucket?
It's a fucking normal chair, right? Not a fucking massive vibrating throne.
That was good. Good intro, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stream of Consciousness. I'm your host, Brian Marlowe, with co-host Enoch Burden and John McGowan. We've got a big show for you tonight. We have our very special guest who, John, I might get you to do a sort of intro spiel about our special guest who's coming up. And then we'll run through some of the topics.
I glazed him on Twitter before, but since he's late, I'm gonna go easy on the compliments. I told him 8 o'clock though. Auspill, aka Hugo, is probably one of the biggest right-wing content creators in the great Commonwealth of Australia right now. I think probably I'd probably say that quite comfortably. And depending on what your definition of right wing is, he's back from his US sojourn and he's ready to tear things up. He's carrying a case of petrol and he's ready to go. So yeah, I mean, I think everyone knows him and loves him, except there's one person in the chat who's some kind of it's called Polly. I don't know. I haven't clicked on him. I can't do both at once, so I can't do my usual leftoid IQ check thing. But yeah, we might leave him in there so they can see it.
Yeah, Polly can stay. Polly can slowly get educated over the course of the stream and become one of us.
Yeah, one of us. We were going to open with the big news about
so I mean, with you guys fashionably late, and so I think what we're going to open with is the latest news with One Nation, and Barnaby's finally made the move. We weren't sure if he was actually going to do it or if he would do it, in a year or two's time. But he's finally made the move. He's joining One Nation. He's going to be the top of the New South Wales Senate ticket, and he's effectively now a One Nation MP, right, in the lower house, because he's joining
so he's their only One Nation MP. I mean, I was annoyed because I was writing a Substack a couple of days ago about this, right before he quit. So he did the announcement at 8 a.m. on Tamworth Radio, and it actually took a while for it to get out. So I didn't hear about it until 11 o'clock. And I was halfway through, and the piece was actually about the polling. Because did you see the polling that came out said that 39% of coalition voters would consider changing their vote to One Nation? And this is existing voters. So this is in a poll where One Nation is already... Yeah, so this is a post-TLD poll where One Nation have already pulled, I think in the last poll, another 3 points away from the Liberal primary. And then another 39% of that would consider changing their vote for Barnaby Joyce if he was leader of One Nation, which is crazy. Hey, we got Ausv the Agenda in the chat. He just said, did you say mad invite? I think he's angry that we didn't invite him on. Well, he can come on next, because Enoch and I were talking about this yesterday. We're talking about we did a long-term SOC planning session, which you were invited to, Brian, but you didn't make it. And we were talking a bit about who we want on the show. And your mic was off just then. I didn't hear it.
Let's try that again.
Yeah. We were talking about who we want on the show, and it's really just people we like and agree with us. And yeah, we're definitely going to get Ausv the Agenda on the show soon. We've made a list of who we want on, and we will like
the agenda. Not to. I mean, we do have a habit of glazing, so I'm going to do that. But
we've got 15 minutes because Auspill just said, "Give me 15 minutes."
Okay.
So
the agenda is my
show's on.
Yeah. He's literally my main source of news now. I don't bother with Sky.
Yeah, 100%.
I've cancelled my News Corp subscriptions. I just go onto X and see what's happening on Oz the Agenda, and that gives me a steer of what's happening. And then I go onto Telegram to see what my schizo mates are telling me. And then I sometimes check the news outlet that must not be named.
I read Ausv the Agenda so I can get balance, because I also read the Noticer. So they're my two, left and right. Right, that I read. Guys are in the chat saying get Barnaby on, get Mark Latham on. I mean, we've had Latham on. We've had Latham on pretty early on, but I think the thing we've been thinking of is, if you want to see politicians talk politician nonsense, you can get that from, Insiders or ABC24 or whatever. Like, we're doing this for our friends. We're doing this for the community of sock puppets. So we're probably more interested in getting people that are a bit more niche on the show. We did say our number one invite on the show that we don't know if we can get her on is, of course, Selena.
She's in. I know. Yeah, no, she's in the chat. So, you've got to jump on.
Oh, that was her just now saying get Mark Latham on. Yeah.
Quit your hiking. We saw your images of hiking around. It's lovely photos of Sydney Harbour. But at some point, you got to get on the stream and
you got to get on the stream. Yeah,
get amongst it.
Yeah. But back to Barnaby. So it's an interesting time to do it because he's obviously aware too of just how popular the move is. The gossip doing the rounds is there are whole National Party branches in New England that are going to pull the pin and join One Nation now. Which is massive for them because they charge so much money for it. I mean, they could probably fund another campaign just on that. He is kind of now effectively the moderate faction of One Nation, really. Like, you hear him talk today. Like, I thought he was really good today, walking a pretty fine line. He's not great on Hanson nonsense. He really wasn't great on talking about the Burqa stuff. Like, he was really weak on it and just kind of dodged it. But I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, he's very kind of hands off about the whole thing, though. When you listen to his comments, like he's saying, he's going to be sitting in the House for One Nation, but he sees it as kind of a procedural thing, and he's actually going to campaign for the Senate. He doesn't think it's a done deal. I mean, I think it's a done deal. I mean, I think even if One Nation gets 50% of what they're projected to get, like he's getting in there. There's no
and with a known name as well. I mean, you got to think, it's got to be worth a lot because he brings credibility.
Yeah, exactly. And even if he wasn't a known name, even if somehow One Nation wasn't surging, you can get into the Senate on as little as 5%, depending on what preference votes
I mean, there's been
Yeah,
I think he's guaranteed.
My mic is balked. I've just changed the settings. Can people still hear me? Okay.
It's low.
It's really quiet. It is really quiet, and I don't know if it's a StreamYard problem or. Yeah.
On the question of Nationals branches coming over to One Nation, how do you patch over a Nationals branch? Do they all have to kind of file in and burn their Akubras?
Something like that. I mean, it actually happened up there once in New South Wales because I can't remember her name. One of the New South Wales oids in the chat might remember her name, but there was a national MP who switched sides to the Liberals some years ago, and I remember her branches coming across to the Liberal Party. And yeah, I think it's maybe like leaving a motorcycle gang where the National Party state executive comes up and beats you with extension cords or something. I'm not sure how it works. But, there's definitely a process for doing it.
You have to give back your tractor.
Skull just said, "Hand in your bullwhip and badge." Yeah, that's right. But look, it's a huge blow for the Nationals. Like this is the thing about like how disconnected politicians are from everyone else, literally everyone else in the country, is that they're running around Canberra and they're backgrounding journalists saying how great this is. They're saying, "Oh, we're so glad Barnaby's gone. We've been trying to get him out for so long, and now he's fine." And like, I didn't realize that thing Barnaby said today, which was like they seated him up the back at the exit door. Did you see this? Like they've been sending him this signal for ages. He's on the biggest margin in the National Party, right? Like he's the most popular guy in the Nationals. The Nationals are sitting there going, "Yeah, we don't want him. Yeah, get rid of that guy. We want to get in another like pantsuit girl boss from HR." Like if the Liberals are doing it, where's our Zaftig globalist? That's my word of the day, by the way. I've been reading Bovril tweets.
Well, the Nationals are like collapsing in their vote as well, right? Like, could this precipitate a mass switchover? Because I mean, ideologically, there isn't that much daylight between the Nationals and One Nation. Like,
there is on a few. I mean, certainly on the question of immigration, because the Nationals are, big farm who need all the fruit pickers and stuff. But Brian, do you have some mic tests, man?
I'm going to do a test now. I've just
it's better. I think it's better.
Yeah, that's way better.
All right, I'm just going to go with this now moving forward. Fuck the mic.
Yeah. Rowan just pointed out the
there must be some kind of mic in the room.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely is. Anika Wells has probably planted one in there to listen to us. Leslie Williams was the name of the gnat I was trying to remember.
I mean, the National Party's just like no longer what it even sort of was, right? Like we talk about TLD, but really it's kind of like total coalition death, and it's deserved. So Barnaby moving across to One Nation, like I fully support it purely because the party that sort of he grew up amongst and helped arguably build, it's shit. It is an empty husk of itself. So yeah, as Lachlan's saying, TCD. Although let's just keep it to TLD because it's easier.
If the sticking point is big farm, though, you can see One Nation getting behind some policies, that have like a kind of pro-farm angle on it, and just eating One Nation's lunch altogether, right? Like One Nation could easily be a pro-rural party that fits in with like the vibe of their policy mix. A little bit of economic nationalism for the regions, and is temporary like is backpacker visa fruit picker, is that the sticking point on migration policy? Is that going to tank One Nation's support in the cities? I don't think so. Like they could give that up. No one's that worried about British people coming here and picking fruit.
I don't know. I think one of the problems you got is just how prone the right is to purity spiraling and internal kind of backbiting. Like the safest option is the straight shot on immigration. Don't get creative on the policy. I mean, like globally, there are credible people talking about remigration now, right? Like, now I don't think we're up to that point in Australia yet, being the operative word. I think we'll definitely get there. So you just got to say it's the pause. It's the pause and everything. I mean, the Advance did a really good post today, I think, where they just said, "Hey, you could do it for the flu, right? So if you can do the pause for the flu, you can do it for everyone." Sorry, guys, I was distracted a second ago because David Dean just put this in the chat, but some guy just called me a pedophile or something on Twitter, and so I'm just organizing a mass report of him. Well, no, he says I'm the fuckhead who allegedly runs or founded or funds The Noticer, a blog for a pedophile child grooming cult. Quote tweeted this post. Oh, okay. So so everyone saw my quote tweet of his post about Jess Wilson, and there's obviously been a pile on. So now he's had to lock it and go cry home. He hasn't blocked me though. Anyway, when this stream is done, we will mass report the guy because he's some kind of Palestine leftist.
It's always a funny thing that that they bring up when they get the shits with you is, oh, well, you started The Noticer. And it's like, okay, and this rumor comes from, well, someone else on X.
Yeah. Where did you hear that? Yeah, where did you hear that rumor again?
Yeah. Okay, right.
Yeah, okay, because you're all like privy to Slovenian corporate filings and stuff. Oh no, you read it on Hitler doll collector Nathan Sykes's blog. That's where it came from. Yeah, and people don't get the joke too. Like, I mean, that's why we don't really devote any kind of time to disputing it. Because I mean, what's the point of disputing it? Because no one can prove who runs it anyway. And it's funny because the guys who really do this enormous value to Australia's right-wing and nationalist community get to do it in a complete vacuum. They don't want anyone to know who they are because every midwit in the country thinks it's me. And no journalist has been able to run it. They keep trying, and like I lawyer up, I flick concerns notices at them. So yeah, no one can even touch them.
Well, it'd be a nice little earner for you if they ran it. You could be the earnest. Well, what do you mean? Like you could be the earnestly in court saying, "I can't."
Oh no, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, yeah, no, I mean, actually running the Noticer wouldn't be an earner.
Oh right,
yeah, I mean, suing people is such a vexed thing too, and also my association with Lehrman would make it like miserable because everyone would just want me to lose a defamation case, right? So like, no one, I would never be able to win one ever. I mean, the 20 you get 25 grand out of them sometimes, but I mean, who cares? Like, the meme is funnier than the money. You know, when it's not about the money, it's about sending a message. That's what we're in for. But yeah, look, I mean, the Barnaby thing's going to be interesting.
Well, there's might actually go to move across. It's not just Nats. I know that there are people in the Liberal Party that are thinking about doing it, currently elected and also recently elected. Whether or not it transpires and when will be interesting to see. But you know,
well, the clock's ticking. I mean, you know, there's not long for them to do it.
Oh, well, I think that the main takeaway here for a lot of people is people get the impression that the sort of groundswell has happened with One Nation, and then off the back of that, some of these people have decided that they're going to move across. I know for a fact that a lot of them, I can't speak for Barnaby, but I know that some of these others that might potentially go across, this has been in the back of their mind for a while because they could see the way that the coalition was going well before everything tanked. In a similar way that we were sort of, calling it even before the election, right? During the election campaign, saying like, you guys are fucking this. You guys are completely tanking yourselves and you're going to implode. And some of these people
I think we were doing spaces then or something, weren't we? And we remember when Jacinta Price was doing like the really cringeworthy MAGA impersonation. I think that was actually the first piece I wrote for the Noticer was in that period. I did the cargo cult to Donald Trump thing. And like that went off because everyone was just going, yeah, what the hell are these guys campaigning on? Like this kind of fake and gay Donald Trump impersonation that no one believes, that all their supporters hate. They're all over the shop. You know?
Yeah.
Well, imagine the MAGA movement, but without the one thing that people wanted the MAGA movement for. Like, brilliant.
Yeah. Like, just not even building the wall. Like, I mean, if you remember, like 2016 Trump, where he was copping all that heat because the wall wasn't getting built after 2 years. Like, and here it's like we're not even having a discussion about a fence. It's saying, we'll cut it by 25%, and you know, but it's still going to happen like that.
Well, I mean, we've spoken about this before, but initially the discussions around migration cuts within the coalition were pushed by, you know, the one or two good people that still remain. We're saying it needs to be at least 50%, right? And then it was watered down to 25% over this sort of set period. But then once that's over, obviously we'll just ramp it back up again. And that's sort of a good example of where the rot was very clear, which is why there are people that have been considering this for a while. I saw Skull, or I think it was Skull in the chat, that was saying Ashby said there was a second one, meaning a second, coalition MP. There's more than that.
Yeah. I mean, the heaps to be considering it. I mean, look, the guys I talk to say the biggest impediment is the 33. Like, everyone's sitting there thinking, okay, look, it seems like a good electoral idea right now. The politics is right. It seems like a kind of fallow field from a policy perspective, because a lot of these guys have their own weird shit that they want to do. They don't even care about immigration that much, particularly on the right. And so you've got the euthanasia stuff, abortion stuff, kids in dresses, whatever. So there's that kind of appeal to it. But then on the other hand, they're all sitting there thinking, well, you've had 33 elected members across every state and fed over the last, 10 years. And they all quit. And they all tell these horror stories about it. So, how bad... I mean, imagine how bad the Liberal and National parties have to be, where you'd roll the dice on James Ashby and Pauline Hanson rather than stay and say, like, it's going to be harder to fix the sclerotic husk of the National Party than it is, as Barnaby Joyce, than it is to join the party that has viciously burned every high-profile person who's ever gone near it. Like, that just shows how bad things are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and this is what Mark Latham was warning about on Twitter, I think either earlier today or yesterday, right? He's like, he was a part of it and he's seen the ugly side of it. So I guess the question is, from my perspective, and I was talking to Enoch about this the other day, it's like, One Nation obviously has its flaws, and there's a lot of concerns. Salim has raised them in the past about, One Nation potentially squibbing another national sort of, uprising, so to speak. Well, the problem is that how do you stop that? Because the tide is going their way, right? So you can't fight against the tide. So what do you think needs to be done to try and ensure that One Nation sort of, gets their act together and acts right and doesn't end up with another scenario where 33 MPs over, 10 years back off? I mean,
the other big issue for them, we've talked about this before, is just that on their current trajectory, I mean, they can't. I mean, they just can't get the 16% that is out there because they're not going to run in all the seats. The good thing about scalping these guys and getting them to switch is that these guys in their seats were the impediment to One Nation getting the necessary vote. Because I mean, if you thought about,
what's that?
I don't know. It's like, was that Enoch? Man, ever since we started
sledging
Anika Wells, I don't know.
It sounds like you're outside.
Yeah, it's like you're outside all of a sudden. Is that it?
Oh,
it's
right.
the feds. They're listening. Oh wait, actually, is Auspill just in the back studio?
No,
he's not here yet. He's still running. He's running on Zoom for 15 minutes, which is like probably 30 minutes.
Island time, yeah.
He's running on time.
I don't know. Look, I mean, the chat's pretty divided on the One Nation question. I mean, we've been pretty earnest about it the whole time. We're not getting super excited about it. Like, I think we've been saying for a long time we would have preferred something different, but don't let perfect be the enemy of good, or in this case, okay, right? I think this is going to help them get more people in the Senate. This is going to help them be disruptive to the government. Yeah, I think it's generally a positive thing. I mean, look, the big question is, can they do something on immigration? Like, can they actually maintain a position on it through the campaign, right? Because it's clear their money's coming in from Gina. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's very clear Gina Reinhardt has switched sides, and she does not care about immigration. 100%. In fact, she wants more of it, right? So how big is Pauline's leash on the immigration question before? Because, you know, man cannot live on $100 cartoon premiere tickets alone. Not if you're trying to compete with the Liberals and Labor Party. So she's going to need a lot of money.
To echo what Farage has been saying over in the UK with the reform is that, you know, if he's cognizant of the fact that if he squibs it and is seen to not actually, you know, represent the wants and needs of younger conservatives and resurgent right wingers, that in his own words, what comes after him is far scarier. So
yeah,
I think for One Nation, their backers, like, you actually need to give this a red hot go. If any of them are somehow watching this, you need to give this a red hot go. You need to treat it seriously. You need to do it properly, because if you don't, and the younger right wing Australians feel like you're walking away,
yeah,
you're going to create a monster that you really do not like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that the monster's already there. Like the undercurrent's already there. It's all just a question of who taps into it and who does it first, right? I mean, Hanson's got first mover advantage, and she's got the fact that she's already in field. That's it. Like, I don't know how long that advantage can hold. Yeah.
Well,
guys,
thing, right? Like, can One Nation hold? Can you guys even hear me? It's like ever since that weird outdoor sound that Enoch had, like,
sorry.
I think my question is, like, how long can they hold the momentum for? Right? Like, they've been building it up. I was wrong. I thought that their ceiling was 15% because I was saying, well, they haven't actually announced any core policies. All they're being is not the Liberals. But I was wrong about that. They're now, you know, sort of breaking that 20% ceiling. Well, how long do they keep that momentum up for? And does it dissipate away before the next election? Like, I don't know what that looks like.
No, I think it'll hold. I mean, like, the bifurcation or polarization, if you want to call it that, is that's going to be there. It's just going to get worse. I mean, look, the real issue for One Nation is what happens if the bifurcation is more pointed and the direction keeps going right. You know, I mean, right now, like, they're the option on the table. You know, who knows what else could happen? And, you know, still a lot of time for parties to register, and, you know, someone with a more I don't want to say intellectual profile, but with like an intellect and with a broader public support could come out of the woodwork, particularly someone from the corporates or, some kind of minor celebrity or something pops up and starts pulling away at One Nation's vote. It'll look split on paper. The left will cheer it. But what matters is going into an election where the share of voice for right-wing nationalist opinions is finally there, because it just simply has never been. I mean, this is not the first time One Nation have done well, right? I mean, we had John Lawson on last week. We were talking about Graham Campbell. So that 1998 campaign, look at the numbers she got in Queensland, right? Like, look at the numbers she got in parts of New South Wales. I mean, she scalped Bob Baldwin in Patterson, New South Wales that year. Yeah. So they have done well in the past, but if you go back and watch the kind of conduct of those elections, read the old newspaper clippings, they talked about her only in the third person. Like, the stories about her were like, it was like, it's funny reading it now because it's like stuff that we mock today, like it's a recent invention, but it's really not a recent invention. Like, 1998, you've got, university professors saying, Australia's a multicultural country and we have to do something about the rise of Pauline Hanson. Like, kind of trash you see right now. Except it had a wider audience. They never really engaged with her at a policy level. And so this is what One Nation has to be cognizant of. Like, the win here is not just getting more guys in Parliament who will be broadly ineffectual. The win is changing the discourse, right? Because we've changed it online. You got to be getting into boomer TV sets at 6 o'clock at night. That's the next phase. Yeah,
it's the next cohort of people to radicalize, right? I saw, I think it was Tarek was sharing some latest, data on the sort of rightward shift against migration across Australia. So I put up a post, but I'll say it on the stream as well. Thank you, Jordan Knight. He hasn't been active in a while because he had to lock in, but he was one of the main, or arguably the main driving force sort of behind that shift that you're seeing in my mind. And but that's, covering the online space. But I think you're right. We need to now get into the boomer brain, into the Gen X, get past their guilt filter and convince them that we're right and everyone else is wrong.
Yeah. Or I think a lot of people already think we're right. I think the biggest impediment is people don't think we can win.
Yeah.
And, this is, when you really drill deep into Australian polling over the years, and especially back in the period of like the height of the two-party system, if you will. I mean, this was the biggest the thing that determined elections was not so much who you liked the most or whose policies you agreed in the most. It was who did you think could deliver stability and, who could be more or less sane. Now, we've got this advantage where people are getting so angry that they don't care anymore. And so you've got the kind of punishment mentality, like what we saw in the US and UK in 2015, where they stopped caring about, forming the best government. They started caring about punishing the people from the last government. And so smashing the idols on the temple steps, right? Whether it was Brexit, which was the thing most valuable to the kind of British financial elite, or the very dignity of the office of the president, which was the thing that was most valuable to the US elite, right? We haven't quite figured out yet what the sacred cow is that we have to ceremoniously destroy. I mean, it might be multiculturalism.
Neither of those actually worked either. So
no, well, exactly. I mean, they were just like kind of speed bumps, but we haven't even got to that point yet. I mean, I've thought maybe, was the 2013 election, was Tony Abbott that? I mean, we had The Voice. What is the thing that these guys will die in a ditch over? And that's the thing that's got to be attacked. I mean, look, some of the stuff that the Liberals in Victoria are doing on this Indigenous stuff, the treaty, like the fact they're getting a bit bolshy on that's quite interesting, because I feel like that is one of the things. I mean, the treaties, the sorry business, like this is one of the most important things to these people and to corporate Australia at large. I mean, you now got CEOs going in whose only experience is running recognition action plans and getting on the promotion train, So I don't know. Like, it could be that stuff, but I mean, can the Liberals do it? Probably not.
No.
That's the short answer.
Yeah, right. Like that's the issue. Is there could be a whole myriad of things that are the lightning rod, but who's going to carry it? Who's going to run with it? And do you trust them?
Who's brave enough to get out there and actually do it?
Exactly.
The thing is, I think it's gone far enough now with certain of the things that have happened, especially the closing of the national parks, like, just the completely over the top welcome to country stuff. Where I don't know, but I get the feeling that you could come out and just say Aboriginals are Australians like everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's our position, and we're not going to play the two tribes in one country game.
Yeah.
They're
and you
welcome
get a lot
to
of
the
support from
Australians. We value them as Australians, but they are Australians just like every other Australian, just like a Greek Australian or a British Australian. And
I mean, I was reading the stuff
all the mumbo jumbo at once.
Yeah, I was reading the stuff today about what Jacinta Allen is actually doing, because it's crazy. Like, there is just crazy stuff in there. But I mean, all this stuff about paying reparations. Like, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I reckon you should say, well, what are the next 20 years? What's the next 20 years of budget expenditure on Indigenous programs look like? End it, take the lump sum, and say, hey, do a DNA test. We'll give you, I don't know, 100 grand. That's the reparation. Bye. That's it. But it's done then. It's over.
Do it as a one-off and then done.
It's a one-off. It's a reparation.
But also
the acre
do
of
a
land and
DNA
a donkey,
test.
right?
Yeah.
Got to do the DNA test, right? Because I mean, that's the thing I'm sick of. Like, you've now got anyone can identify as Indigenous and receive all the public benefits, and you have this tremendous irony where people who probably are genetically Indigenous, whose ancestors really were here for 80,000 years or whatever, they're not getting access to the same number of programs because the process actually works. Like, you need a family group / tribe to kind of confer it on you. So that's effectively how it works. Like, I can't actually just say I don't even know what they're named down here in Tassie. I probably should, but I just can't declare myself as one of them. I need like a family of them to declare me as one of them, right? But
I think you got rid of them down there, man.
Oh no, I mean, we got heaps of them. We got heaps of them down here. They changed the name of the mountain. Like, it's crazy.
Not to get myself,
No, I thought there was a specific action to specifically get them off that island.
Turned out it didn't
my
work.
reading of it.
I know. I learned about it in school. I'm older than you guys. Like, when I was at school in Tasmania, we learned there were none there. We used to go to the museum, and it was real sad. You go to that Tasmanian Museum, had this like exhibition of all these like wax dummies of Tasmanian Aboriginals, and you pressed a button on the wall, and they had like a old-fashioned record player that would play the last recording of Truganini when she was exiled up to the island before she died. And it was like, this was the last Tasmanian Aboriginal, and everyone was like, when, how? Because this is like, in the 90s when this stuff was like, all the education was first taken off. And we think, how lucky are we? Because the kids on the mainland, they got to do like a month of this stuff. They got to learn how to do dances and stuff. We get one day at the museum and then it's over. But that was the 90s.
It's interesting how it chops and changes though. Like, a lot of my family lived down in Tassie. And when I was a kid, I remember going down to Bruny Island and they had some plaque commemorating, Indigenous Australians in Tasmania. And there was a story about Truganini. And I remember it because I remember going there a few years later and the story on the plaque had completely changed. So the first story that I read was that Truganini's people had fallen ill. And so missionaries came to help them, which then brought further diseases, which meant that those people then died. And their logic was, because the missionaries came to help them and then made them even more sick, the missionaries are responsible for their death. Right? Except that raised a natural question, which is, but hang on, we were trying to help, right? We came across these people that were sick. We tried to help them out. It didn't work. Then it completely changed to, like, white guys rocked up and killed them, the end. And I remember the same plaque changing the entire story. So I just, at a certain point, and maybe this is the point where I get in trouble, but isn't there a certain point where we can just say, well, hang on, Australia is a country that we built. You're now within that country. Whatever happened before that doesn't really matter because we rocked up and we won. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way of the world. So you're not going to.
And isn't this exactly? And this is what they say about mass migration, right? Like they say, well, this is just the natural order of the world. People migrate. There was an Ice Age migration, and then there were Normans and Anglo-Saxons. Like this just happens, and you have to deal with the replacement. Okay, right. So that goes for everyone. Does that go for the people that were in Australia first? Like, no, it doesn't. Like, look,
the argument is that yes, that is correct, which is that replacement is happening at the moment, just like it happened when we founded Australia, except that we won and that we're going to win when it comes to remigration as well. So
but these things are always deployed in a way that undermines particular energies, particular tendencies within our society, and never reflectively kind of put back on things that the left prefers. So, for example, you just gave a very good example with the migration thing. When British people migrate en masse to a country and actually make it much better, that's an invasion. But when you start to replace the population of people from somewhere else, well, that's just how populations work. And they do it on topics like across the board. It's just once you kind of realize it's just a tactic. Like this stuff is just deployed by them. And I think we should take Bowden's advice, which is never take on a narrative that undermines your own power and your own sense of yourself. And your own national myth. Like you can't take that crap on. It'll destroy you.
Topic is probably the best time to throw
Auspill's coming. He's coming in hot, guys. I think Auspill's got some big news for us. Actually, we're breaking to our Auspill desk.
Yo, and is my mic working?
Yeah, man. Bro. Welcome to Stream of Consciousness.
Thank you. It's it's been a long time coming. I can't believe I wasn't invited sooner. It's ridiculous.
I think we've extended the invite, but to be fair,
kind of lazy.
We managed to get spoken.
Yeah, and plus you were in America for ages too. Like, what time would it have been?
That's true. Well, it's still up. I'd be up at like 6 or 7 a.m. in Florida, and then I'd be getting like the notification that you were going live. I think actually, one time, you did invite me, but it was like 8 a.m. and I was like, oh, it'd be like the zombie hour for me.
Yeah. Hey, Enoch, can you move the chat off my head?
Yeah. Look, I'll do that now.
I'll put it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just put it on manual.
So what's going on, man? You got I saw in the chat that you said there was you was having some TikTok drama.
Bro, they banned both of my TikTok accounts simultaneously. Like, not even like, I don't know, one, and a few days later it was banned. Like, they literally both got nuked at the exact same time.
Really?
Like, it logged me out of one because it was banned.
And the
next
of the
one
social
out,
media ban too. Like, there's got
that's crazy.
Yeah, there's something there, man.
Yeah,
because they've banned my accounts. Like, go on.
Are your other accounts safe, like Instagram and stuff? For now,
we don't know. But what I do know is that like someone's like meddled with my TikTok accounts like on 2 occasions before, where I've gotten them back by speaking to representatives of Americans and getting them back, but it's never been like 2 accounts at once. It's always been one or the other, or one in a few days, the other one gets hit, and then I get them both back. This is just both at once, and there's no appeal option. There was no warning, and I can't even reach out to my representative. Like it's fully locked me out. It's crazy.
And do they give you? Did they give you any reason? Was it just like a generic? Your page goes against our standards or anything like that, or just you're gone?
Yeah, just you can download your data, probably because the EU laws regarding that, and that's it. That's like the one option.
Yeah, man, that's messed up, and the timing's extremely suspect. Suspect, right?
Yeah, the accounts were being meddled with for a few days, like leading up to this. Like there was some stuff happening; they were being hidden from the search. I was logged out of them. Some people couldn't find the account, and then just like today, just bombed. Just both of them gone.
The not being able to find the accounts, like the shadow ban thing, like that means it's being done behind the scenes, because like they do that to some of our guys on Twitter all the time. Like Mark Latham's, he's been on like a permanent shadow ban now for like 5 years, Like his name does not come up in searches. You have to type it in exactly.
I knew a Proud Boy
somehow...
from America, and in just before the midterms in like 2019 or something, in Trump's first term, he and a bunch of his Proud Boy associates. This is before any of the insurrection Fed bullshit. This is just when they were a political movement that was being called very right wing. They got banned. Like, he personally had his YouTube account banned, his Facebook account banned, his Instagram account banned on the same, like, overnight, on the same night. And he'd never used his Facebook account for anything related to politics at all. But they just like, there was some kind of coordinated, like there were, like, those companies actually put their heads together to try to take the entire organization off the internet all at once, in a way, where they then couldn't get the word out to their own supporters that even that was happening. So they can be very sly about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to, like, I obviously don't know who's done it, but yeah, I'd presumptively just say it was an authority or state, because for both to disappear at the same time, I've seen guys get banned all the time. It's like one account and you have your alt and your backup, but like two at once is, someone important oversaw that.
Yeah, the selective enforcement of the new regulations gives the government massive leverage over these social media corporations. Yeah, because it can basically say, well, do you want closer scrutiny on whether you want to, whether these regulations apply to you and which ones do? Because they've got a few different levers they can pull now.
You should get into the Free Speech Union's app that does the automated FOI on eCaren.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, jump on that. Like, if you do it now, mine came back in like 14 days. I was surprised that it was so quick, and it was so weird. Like, every time they mentioned me, it was like the most random, non-controversial post. But I imagine if you did that, because it's across multiple platforms, you might find out what kind of activity was going on in the last few days that precipitated it.
And given crazy, so we've all done it. A few others, like I know George Christensen did it, and he managed to get a response quite quickly. As well as many others that I know, if you do it and they start pushing back, saying, "Oh, that what you're asking for is going to require too much work," or any of the standard gobbledygook that bureaucrats say to not actually answer the FOI, that's how you know that there's definitely been communications to ensure that you're shadow banned. So go through the process, man. If you start hitting brick walls, you know.
Man, I reckon it could have been Harvey. Could have been. We should get into that.
We should imagine, bro. That's a good segue.
Maybe it was him.
Holy true.
Yeah. That was crazy. Like, I mean, you came out of it looking good, but how? Talk us through what happened beforehand. Like, did he just come straight up to you, or how did it go down before we saw the video?
Well, like, I'd landed in from the States that morning, and I had no intention of going to this rally until I saw, like, Pauline Hanson was speaking. And I guess, like, that piqued my interest because, I mean, obviously she's a pretty big figure, and getting to see her speak was mildly interesting, so it encouraged me to go. So, I rock up around the time that she starts speaking. Like, I wasn't even there at the start of the march or anything, or in part because I had to, get into the new place and set up, and then jet straight there. So I'm at the Flagstaff Gardens. Pauline she starts speaking, or she's like 2 minutes into speaking, and I'm kind of waltzing around the perimeter trying to get an angle, taking some photos of her speaking, a couple people, shaking my hand, whatever. And then, like, I noticed there's like a commotion, and you can hear on the live stream after, it's Avi like pointing me out to Patterson. And all of a sudden, like, I wasn't even like myself openly engaging with anyone or doing anything to cause any commotion. And again, like, right on the perimeter, his whole entourage starts coming towards me. And again, right on the perimeter, like, I'm basically on the police line, and he comes straight at me. And that's the interaction you see there, where Patterson's charging me for being a Nazi and stuff, to which, I just deny. And so there was no like provocation or anything, such that even when the whole interaction ended and he tried to have me ejected, the police, because they saw the whole thing, because I was basically standing with them from when it began, they let me stay. Probably also because because they're sick of Harvey and they know who he is and he's a troublemaker and whatever else. But yeah, it was like I was so innocent that even the police were just like, all right, you just go over there and Harvey, you can go back over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing I didn't understand, right? Like their entire thing was like, you can't be here. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's a public rally. Like, I don't think you can just deny people wanting to go to a public rally. And
well, like,
I only saw some clips of it, but it maybe I'm wrong. It looked like Harvey actually beckoned the cops over. So I saw, I don't know if it was the cops or the security, but he beckoned someone over to try and basically intercept you and stop you from going to a public rally.
Yeah, I mean, like technically, the thing is, you actually can have people very easily ejected from public rallies. Like, if you are sort of, for example, if you're wearing a high-vis vest and you start, identifying someone as being a troublemaker and you start trying to move them on, normally the police will side with you. Just, they're not really there to litigate or mediate. They just assume, oh, you're causing trouble to the guys who look official. Let's just get you out of there, whatever. But in this case, they must actually just know Harvey and just say he's full of it. We're not going to side with him on this one, or even like we just would probably assume it's like a faulty move on from the organizers.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
speaking of that, so who was the guy? Because he looked familiar. The guy in the high vis vest with the lion, the suspicious looking lion on it. Like, is he a known kind
Lion
of
of
guy?
Zion?
Like, yeah, because that guy was weird. Like Harvey's little bodyguard in his lion high vis vest. And I talked to a few people who were there who said, like, those guys looked like they were the ones who organized it, not Monica Schmidt. Like, they were the ones running around with microphones and stuff. So
yeah,
I was interested in what their deal was. Like,
yeah, that was Nick Patterson, who's like been around for a long time. His Melbourne Peacekeepers, I believe, like provided citizen security during like the pandemic protests, and they were there to like keep the peace between the system and the patriots. And he goes pretty far back. Like a lot of people know who he is in the movement. People on the far right know him. I think he used to own a gym. I know he's a very good MMA fighter. Hence, he's like big cauliflower ears. I even know the guys. There's some of them actually reached out to me, the ones he used to train with, to vouch for him. But basically, what it seems like has happened to him is that he had fallen on like kind of hard times. He's got like 6 kids or something, and Harvey's kind of swooped in, given him those like donation links. Kind of propped him up a little bit. So I guess he's kind of forced to do Harvey's bidding now. That's my read of the situation, at least as far as I can tell, and what people have described to me about what's going on. So I can't really hold anything against him directly for being sort of Harvey's muscle. But even Harvey tried to play off in his response video that it was Patterson wanted you out there because he identified you. But there's like recordings you can hear on their live of Harvey and his mate singling me out. So that's the Melbourne Peacekeepers that Patterson's a part of. But the other organization, which also features a big cat, is the Lions of Zion. And he was that guy in the more like grey block with the earpiece. He was a member of the Lions of Zion, which is an explicit, like, I guess you call it like a Jewish activist group. I don't know what the name is.
Yeah. They're the ones I'm interested in.
I just find very interesting.
What's going on with those guys?
Yeah, because the AFP actually denied. Pauline had some sort of security or people who are working as security in that event who were like denied that role by the AFP because they had like right-wing connections. But the Lions of Zion are allowed, basically within meters of Pauline without the same sort of scrutiny, which I find wild because I assume it's just anyone who's like identitarian or activist group based. The AFP is trying to keep away from a politician, but meanwhile these guys can waltz up. I think they have connections even to like the CSG group and all different sort of.
Well,
there's plenty of dirty work for them to do in Israel if they,
well, exactly.
if that's their specialty.
But these guys are local, and why I was interested in them because this goes back a couple of years when October 7 first kicked off and like the pro-Palestine derangement first began. Like in my line of work, there were rumors of these pro-Israeli groups who were paying bounties for hit jobs, not literal, figuratively, on politicians, right? So they wanted to know, which Labor guys were supporting Arab movements who'd been photographed with like Hamas-linked guys. It was good money on it too. But So that's why I was looking into it. And but what I realized was
$7,000.
Yeah, well, it was more than $7,000, but then I realized, like, well, these guys are foreign funded, right? So I mean, that puts you exposed on the foreign actor registry, right? If you work for a foreign principal, if you work for a foreign government in Australia, you got to go on a list, and I don't like going on lists. So look, I didn't end up doing it. But I know a lot of guys who did, a lot of guys in politics. And then they seem to have, it was the same group, and they now seem to have phoenixed into this Lions of Zion kind of public protest thing. I mean, this stuff is gross, right? I mean, and this is exactly what, the guys in Black Bloc were protesting against when they said abolish the Jewish lobby, right? This is a foreign government that's there, monstering you, a patriot, at a protest who just wants to go see Pauline Hanson.
And this is the thing. It's like, these guys are... for the most part, pretty smart operators. So what I don't understand is how they couldn't see how this would, optics-wise, completely backfire. Like, you've got a young, precocious Australian nationalist who cares about Australia, who wants to go to ostensibly what is meant to be a rally about putting Australia first. And the entire response is to block his entry, beckon security and or cops over, and try and get him booted out. Like, how did Avi think that was going to play out? Or
well, the thing is that
other fucking groups.
they've got no self-awareness of the optics, because for 50 years all of this stuff has gone through a mainstream media filter, which has basically run cover for this kind of stuff. Like, basically, Jews could organize, act in their own interests in ways that influenced our politics or targeted it, and no one was allowed to talk about it, in a way that if the Chinese were doing it, or the Indians were doing it, or any other group were doing it, it would have been a massive issue.
Well, the Chinese did it.
Or if whites did it, Jesus, can you imagine?
The Chinese did it to Drew Pavlu like the week before. Hey, so did to Hugo? Did Avi contact you afterwards? Did he reach out?
No. I thought, like, he made enough of a mistake, the interaction even happening to begin with, that I thought, the next smartest thing, or for him to recover some of his, like, aura, he would maybe just try and hide the event entirely, let it boil down. But instead, he's simmering it, and he made a YouTube video responding to it, and posted that across his platforms, Instagram, TikTok,
and then he blocked you.
And only a few hours after uploading. No, he blocked me, of course, before posting that, but now all the comments are restricted. So YouTube, you can't comment unless like you're I think it's even beyond a subscriber, like maybe even like a member. Instagram, you can't comment; it's been restricted. Facebook's all been restricted. Like, I think he's copped so much for it, and it's like you were saying, he's not like protected by this like media filter anymore. It's out there, and people, what they are seeing is like what Brian was describing. Especially those who have no idea any of this backstory. They're just seeing like some dude getting pressed by an entire entourage, like 6 or 7 guys, and there's just one patriot just like getting ejected on the sole charge he's a Nazi because his jacket says Helly Hansen. Like, it was so hysterical.
Well, it went international, right? It went international because you had heaps of guys from the US retweeting it, like, and you just come back, which we want to ask you about, but you just come back from doing that American Renaissance thing, and so you had all the guys who just recently seen you at that, who are picking it up and like boosting it to the US. I mean, look, as an aside, like this is what Avi doesn't seem to. I mean, look, if I was Avi, I would have had you on the show. Like, that's what you do in that situation. Right? Like,
and then you hash it out.
That's how the big US streamers do this stuff. Like, you have the confrontation and then you go on air. Like, it's a little bit of and I pronounced this wrong last time. What's the wrestling term? Kayfabe. Like, you have the confrontation and then you get everyone on the show and everyone does massive numbers and everyone gets their message out. They sell a bunch of Black Rifle coffee and fucking protein powder and everyone's happy, right? But he doesn't do that because it's very clear he's a political operative. So he doesn't want to engage with you on the show. But I mean, we want to get on to that, the thing that you did in the US before you came back. How was American Renaissance, and what was Jared Taylor like?
Dude, Jared Taylor has like this white man aura that you just don't really get anymore. Like, he popped out on, like, when we did our video together, that little meme one, the white man. He was like dressed, and he's like, I'm leaving the conference clothes. He has just like this, like the jewelry, like the belt, the fit, like the sports shirt, the sports blazer, like it's all together. And he just like so totally commands whatever situation you're in. Like I remember I gave to him like, oh, here's a video idea we could do for a short like TikTok thing, and he's just like, no, I'm not doing that. Like just put it down, but in like with the most swag ever, he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And then we instead just decided to sort of speak as we were, and then I ended up chopping it up into what you saw. But yeah, he just he just has this like swagger that like it's just so rare now. The only a man like born in Japan who becomes like Garrett Taylor can have a true Japanese man like that.
Yeah, I love that you did the accent as well in the video. White. Yeah. That was the highlight. That's what made it. That's what made it peak pure cinema.
Well, that was the original video was meant to be like, it was meant to be like me saying white, or no, just saying. Sorry, I'm saying automatically now, saying white, and then him like correcting me to say white, but he like refused on the basis that there's no need for a correction because like technically both are right, and he didn't want to make it a mockery. So he's smart. Like he knows like there's a way he wants to come across, and it's not like this meme guy. Yeah. In the same way, he's always been against like vulgarity and stuff. He just must not want to like fall into that trap that so many do.
What was the rest of the conference like? Because I mean, I watched your video. I didn't see the rest of it, and like it's been a while since I've really like paid much attention to it. What was the like? Who else do they have speaking? What was the kind of vibe?
There was like Greg Johnson. There was I should know her name. Like that female comedian. Every time I forget her name.
Joni, whatever it is.
That's female.
Leonardo Joni. That's right. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, no,
Leonardo Joni. She spoke. There was Mark Collette. He beamed in from the UK. I mean, and then also there was Eric. Or the Return to the Land, Orville, what's his name? Is that his right? I feel like these are names you never come across in Australia. The Return to the Land, what's his name? Eric.
Yeah, I mean, I know the one you're talking about. I'll Google him. I'm actually just pulling it up, the whole list up. But
Arville,
yeah. But I mean, I think you and I were talking about it before you went, and because I'm a moron, I said don't do it, but you made the correct choice and did it. But like you're right, these are guys we never hear of in Australia because it's like a part of like, I mean, call it like far right culture in the US, but like just the hard right, the right of the right generally, before you get too spicy. Like we don't have that here. Like here, it's like even our side of politics is bifurcated, whereas over there you do have this whole spectrum of guys like that spin out of the John Birch Society in the late 1980s, and who come at white nationalism through a completely different intellectual lens to anyone else, and they have been publishing for years, and there's like a corpus of literature. I mean, whereas here we've just got Frank Salter, and that's it. And God bless Frank, but we don't have when we've seen it with the BAC. I mean, one of the reasons why the BAC conference was so successful this year was because really the first year we've had enough serious thinkers to get on.
Yeah, we're just getting it now, really.
Whereas the American
ecosystem.
It's barely coalesced, and even in its infancy, there is a coordinated effort to completely try and neuter it and nuke it, and shut down academics and shut down content creators, TikTok accounts, for example. So, it tells me that obviously the giant bug from Starship Troopers is scared, right? And I don't know, I see it as a good thing. It's frustrating, obviously, losing your fucking TikTok accounts, but it's all a sign of a good thing in the long run, in my mind.
How big were they before?
Really?
Oh, it was the biggest one had 87,000 with like 8 million likes, and the second had about 48,000 with another 4 million likes. So like combined 130 with like over 11 million likes. Yeah, it was annoying, but like I think this is the direction TikTok's going in anyway. Like that's what most people say. Like somehow Meta is now more liberal than
everyone
TikTok,
says,
which is funny because that's how
Instagram.
Yeah, it started in the reverse.
Well,
like the way I think TikTok really rose to prominence.
Sorry, mate. You go.
Yeah.
You go.
I think it's a crazy delay right now. I'm hotspotting my computer.
Oh, okay.
What I was
your
going to say
is
broke up.
TikTok was the subject of a massive, U.S. administration crackdown. Ostensibly, they said it was because of China's involvement, but really it was because TikTok was the main place that Zoomers were using to buck a lot of narratives and trends that the administration wasn't okay with, right? So they're really facing the most scrutiny. Meanwhile, Instagram is now turned into the hate speech app, and Facebook is kind of loosely following behind, all led by X. So I don't mean to be flippant because you put a lot of work into the content you put out there, but I think as long as you've got X, you've got Insta and things like that, TikTok going away sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
I mean, look, content's going to change too.
Yeah, TikTok started with that's how TikTok really rose to prominence. Was by being in moderation, a lot more liberal than Instagram. And it's just funny how over time they've just swapped places. I think even Instagram overcorrected and it's gone that next level. But yeah, for the interim, Instagram, possibly even more than X, is the free speech app.
Yeah, one of the things driving it is. Whereas the social media companies before were obsessed with content moderation because if the content got too crazy, left or right, it scares off advertisers, and that was the revenue stream. I mean, that's now a legacy revenue stream. They don't care about it, and on X they're giving it away to us, through monetization. Now they care about you, that is all of us and everyone in the chat, producing content that can be fed to large language models for outputs that they can sell to corporate clients. So they don't want anyone being censored because they need salient, edgy, novel content because it's more valuable to feed to an LLM so it can give the right output back to a third party than it is to use it for advertising, which is why no one cares about the social media ban, right? Because 13 to 16-year-olds aren't producing content, or at least it's not good. I had a funny conspiracy theory this week that the Chinese government are responsible for the 6-7 meme. And it's so because there are billions. No, this is actually a serious tech guy said this to me.
Add this to the conspiracy iceberg.
Every day, Zoomers are just putting 1 billion 6-7s into the ether. They mean nothing. It's junk data. LLMs are hoovering all this up, going, what the fuck, another 6-7? What does it mean? And so it's tainting the data sets, right? Because there's no saliency, no novelty to it. And they think maybe the Chinese did it because the Chinese are backwards on AI development. Anyway, that's an aside. I don't know if that's right. But
to increase our algorithmic placement at the end of every episode, I'll spend 30 minutes reading out Python code. Hopefully they'll make us more valuable to various machine
learning. We'll do an episode where it's just us saying 6-7 over and over again. But yeah, I mean, that was another question we were going to ask you, dude, was because you're the youngest guy any of us know, and social media ban's coming in tomorrow. How important was social media to you when you were a kid? Because you're a kid recently, right? I mean, if you think where you are now and the content you make now, and where you kind of came from, I mean, would you be the same Auspill today if you couldn't get online until you were 16? Were you getting radicalized as little Auspill?
And what radicalized you if you were?
I mean, I feel yes, it was very important, but they've actually made so much exempt from the ban, namely Discord's a huge one, that it can get sort of confusing. Plus, there's so many workarounds. I feel like this ban is probably more so for because there's a bunch of let's say anyone who's 12 years on or above right now is probably going to find a way around the ban no matter what.
Yeah.
I feel like this is those cigarette sort of bans where they're banning it one generation ahead. I feel like it's going to mostly affect 10 years down the line, those sort of kids, because they may not even have the conception of social media and therefore have no demand for it and not seek out ways to get into it, except for the fact they're being Discord and WhatsApp and I think maybe even Snapchat was briefly or might still be available. There's so many social medias which are available. Snapchat for me was huge growing up. They haven't really taken away the core ones. And even if I know Reddit is launching the ban, I guess a challenge to the ban, I suppose they must actually be banned. But to answer your question, I don't know what they're going for if they're leaving Discord and Snapchat and stuff out of the ban. because those for me were quite formative. Snapchat especially. Yeah, I guess I wasn't too deep onto like 4chan or anything when I was that age. Like, I wasn't like browsing Poll at 15, but I guess, but no, they can't even ban Chan, can they? That's not even that's
yeah. They can't really ban it. Well,
yeah, so
well, I mean, you can't have your 4chan. Yeah, you can't have your 4chan Gold account. I guess. Like, I mean, it's having the account is where the ban comes from. But it is an interesting question because guys like you, I mean, a lot of the guys who stream or produce content, like, because you only get to know people in like 30-second spots, right? So there's no like history of Auspill out there. And like, we do like 2 hours of just talking shit on this show. So I was just going to ask you, like, when did you get radicalized? Like, what was the moment in the last few years where you kind of like stopped and went, shit, this is my political identity. I'm a right winger. Because, like, I mean, it's pretty confronting, right? Like, it's like the least popular position you can take. So I wanted you to tell us, like, where did that kind of start for you?
I suppose like the big sort of broad awakening into politics would have come with the lockdowns, because that hit right as I was finishing high school. So we had no formals, all my school sport was on hold. Like it was, I don't want to say, oh, it was so crushing because we couldn't have formals and stuff, but it was kind of significant because it was a big thing I was looking forward to. And so I guess that sort of brought politics from being this thing that's, locked away in Canberra and I don't have to think about or see, and I just like vote Liberal my entire life. It became like very, very close and personal because it was putting a curfew over my head and, preventing me from going 5 kilometers away from my house. And so it was quite significant. So I sort of started paying attention then and caring a bit. But, in the vaguest sense, I was just like, oh, this probably isn't just, or this isn't really right. And it wasn't. And so that developed like a general sense and understanding of politics. And then I guess it evolved into what you see now with years later. I had a fitness account. And I've told this story a few times. It might be new to some people. I had my TikTok was originally like a gym account, and it was.
I knew that, yeah.
It was focused on like, debunking the certain health trends of the day, and this even made the age when I first said it. But yeah, the big video was the one on icing your balls. I was trying to make a video to debunk that trend because for some reason in like late 2023, everyone was like icing their balls. I think Solbra said to do it.
Sunning your balls as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Sunning, icing,
just like icing them.
Yeah.
All the elements at once. And
so to clarify, I need to stop doing that.
Well, I never actually got the answer.
We were going to ask you. Do Brian and I really look like we know that much about health and fitness? Like we were going to rely on you to tell us. We're out here like sticking our balls in ice this whole time.
Well, I was looking for the answer to that, and of course, there's not really much data in the literature on icing them. There is for anyone who's just hearing this and has no idea what I'm talking about, there was this belief that since they hang out of your body for purposes of like temperature regulation. And since most people now wear pants and underwear and stuff that stop them from having that ability to efficiently like control their temperature, well, we should overcorrect for that by like icing them for periods within the day to like rapidly reduce their temperature. And the belief was, well, increase their efficiency and converting estrogen to testosterone and blah 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 blah. And I was looking for data to try and like support, or I was looking for any data that could be related to this to then answer the question if it was actually doing anything. And what I ended up coming across instead was some stuff about like national fertility markers, because I thought that could be analogous to testosterone, which could be analogous to just this whole host of data that I was looking at. But I got carried away because I saw in this data set that like Australia wasn't too far behind Japan, which I'd known for a long time.
On the fertility rates. Oh no, you got one-shotted by the fertility rates.
Well, no more, because I saw the fertility rates were so low and dropping, and then I saw our population was actually growing, and it was because of immigration. So I made a video, the video that was meant to be debunking icing your balls, instead was just like a presentation, like, oh, here's our immigration and birth rates, this doesn't look very healthy. And then Australia Day hit me like a week later, and I was like pro Australia Day on TikTok, and everyone was like, all these like communists came out of nowhere, and it just all like fused together to create like this political identity. On immigration, on like Australian identity. So it was kind of like 2 hits. Like it hit me in like COVID, and then there was like a bit of a delay, and then
and then you got the full-on Solbra radicalization pipeline, which is entirely what he'll now claim that was entirely the point. It wasn't actually about getting people to ice their balls or sun their balls. It was to get younger Australians to make the connection between lower fertility rates and mass migration.
It was like it's super esoteric. He was like Aryan telepathy to Auspill. Like, look at the Kaggle data set. Look at the fertility markers. Eat the raw meat.
But this is
like, whoa.
This is the thing, right? And like, because you say like, it starts with COVID, but like I found like not like guys slightly younger than me. What really changed them, what radicalized them in that period was the fact they had time to read, right? So you're going to working a wage cut job every day.
I was just playing Fortnite.
You drink and shit. Yeah, well, guys start reading and they get radicalized. Like, I reckon there's room in the movement. Like, you got guys who start gyms, and like there's the gateway drug of health and fitness into like radical right philosophy. I want to open a library or a bookshop. Like, just do one of those like cringy, like, they have those like communist anarchist bookshops, capital cities. I want to do one of them for us. So just guys go in there and read, right? Maybe that will help radicalize people. We got a shout out to our ASIO agent who's watching. Thanks.
Yeah, that's me, bro. I'm watching. I'm in the stream.
The call's coming from inside the house. Just on that, can I get a job watching this stream? Surely they get a transcript. It's the same AI that does RoboDebt. Just churns out.
I want to be in the room when someone's going, okay, well, it appears that Mr. Pill was radicalized by something called a Solbra,
and icing his balls. Yeah. It's something that. There you go.
Yeah. So. A question for Hugo, which is what's next, right? Like, you've been a very busy naughty boy this year, rocking up at rallies to put Australia first, setting up March for Australia, or being one of the most integral figures in the setup of March for Australia. I don't want to solely say you set it up, because then we'll cause a full autistic meltdown.
Oh yeah. The factions, the factions will be honest.
Yeah, but mate, like a lot of people don't know this. Like you were quite integral in getting the first marches off the ground, and they were arguably the most important sort of public events that happened this year, on our side of politics. So what sort of next in your big game plan that's going to be moving forward? Is 2026 going to be another big year for you, or what? Yeah, what are you focused on rather?
Well, I'll hopefully be in Australia more in the next year. I'm going to try to be, and I'm going to just effectively, I don't know. I can just keep doing what I'm doing, like ride the tiger. I can't say there's anything like super dramatic that I'm coming out of the woodworks with. I wish there was like some crazy news. I'm probably going to do like some IRL streams in like Box Hill, in Parramatta, Little India, in Sydney. Just to sort of, there's a guy named Kurt Kaz who does similar things. He travels around Europe, going to like their blighted areas.
Another one, yeah.
I might just go around Australia to like.
This is an idea that
he's always getting fights. There's guys who like come up and try to hit him and stuff.
Well, so this is the thing. Like, you could do like a Kurt Kaz style thing. The other thing that for anyone out there who also wants to do content and isn't sure what to do, we've mentioned this before. Strap a fucking GoPro to your chest and just go walk around, public bus stops and train stations in heavily diverse areas. Just the footage alone, I think, will really shock a lot of people that don't see it, that don't live in those areas and, don't catch the train to work, because it is insane. So I think a little bit more of that would be great to see.
Green Gobbler just said Vox Pop content is awesome. You could do some good stuff with that, like just going up to random Australians in public.
Well, that would be the go, like with the with those lives, like going to Box Hill and stuff, and like just asking them what they think about it. Like, random Chinese lady who owns a store with like only Chinese signage. What do you make of this? Like, it's quite surreal almost. I come from, the south in Melbourne, and I'm up here in the north, and it looks like a different country. And probably, I reckon their honest opinion would be like, yeah, no, it's pretty crazy for even us, for us living here. And that would be like the content strategy. And maybe I'll make it out to Alice Springs. I don't know. I might get like a private military contractor to come with me.
Man, Alice Springs. Alice Springs is not cool. Darwin is weirdly based. Darwin's actually got a lot of great people in it. Darwin, like, people tend to be quite conservative, and Indigenous people up in Darwin tend to be quite conservative. Like, the problem up there is like Chinese nationals who like come out and work there that suck up all the houses. I mean, the waterfront down there is beautiful, and you've got these multi-million-dollar apartments that no one else can afford. Darwin's really interesting. Far North Queensland's pretty crazy too. Like, I mean, there's nowhere in Australia that's immune to it anymore. I've been raging about it down here in Hobart. I mean, part of the reason I came down here was just because I got so tired of cultural enrichment in the inner west of Sydney. But it's just follows you everywhere. Like, you just can't get away from it.
Yeah, it's like trying to escape flood. It's just coming.
Yeah. We were out doing fishing, putting cray pots down the other day, and there was a little tinny buzzing around this bay where everyone was putting their cray pots down, and they had a dive flag, and these guys were going in the water picking crayfish out of people's pots, and of course they surface, and I couldn't actually tell exactly what race they were, but they were one of the swimming ones, not one of the running ones. And you look at it and go, geez, man, like, no one in Australia had ever thought about that before. Like, for 100 years, guys go out 6 months of the year, they put pots down, you get free crayfish. Well, it costs you $180 for the license, whatever. And you go home, you feed your family. It's a fun Christmas holiday thing to do. No one ever thought that we were going to have people in cheap tinnies swimming down, stealing your crayfish and selling them for $50 at the boat ramp. It never occurred to anyone that we might have to regulate for that. And now that happens. And it's funny, like, you call fisheries and tell them it's happening. They don't do anything. But, man, if you don't pay that fishing license, they'll come at you. This is the undercurrent out there that is making people so angry that is driving people to One Nation. So, dude, what do you think about the One Nation thing, right? Because, I mean, you're solid in your political views. You like, having a view on who's base and who's not. You got thoughts on Barnaby and jumping to Fon?
Yeah, I mean, my hope is that, like, her vote surges, and then there's people who want to capitalize that either from the Libs or from new parties that might spring out, and it actually forces them to, like, do party stuff and, like, be an organization, because there already are some people jumping ship from the Libs into One Nation who carry over a wealth of knowledge, and it seems like currently they're just, like, hamstrung by Pauline and Ashby, maybe like a bit of ego, and them, just doing what they've been doing for 20 years, which, has obviously not worked very well. What is it, like 33 people have come and gone from that party.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's almost like the competition drives them into some competency. But, it's been a while since they've been having those polls jump up, and all Pauline's really done is, like, organize a speech at some Queensland conference where she's going to repeat what she said at Mar-a-Lago, and you can watch it for $100 and have canapes. Like,
in the theater and at a Dendy. So I don't think so. Did you actually get to see Pauline in the end at March for Australia?
Yeah, I got when she was being ushered away with, by the way, those Lions of Zion's guys somehow being, like, embedded within the AFP and, like, I guess general police security. I sort of got, like, a selfie with her in the background. The bright hair, but no, I didn't get actually to meet her. I did meet Warren Pickering. I met him before.
Oh yeah,
a year ago at the an ACL event with, like, a bunch of people running for Victorian Senate. I mean, he's solid. Like, he like did the interview with me. I asked him just a basic question. I was like, young people, they're the one demographic. One Nation is not seeing, like, a real big boost in polling. What are you going to do to, I guess, win them over, tide them over? And his response was, well, we're actually not going to target any one demographic. We're going to keep doing our politics and, I guess, by the winds of the sands of time or whatever the Zoomers might grow into conservative politics or something that he said. He's like, oh, we just don't want to target any one demographic. And that was his answer. And I actually haven't posted that interview clip yet.
I feel like Monica Schmidt could have helped you with the putting your balls in the ice thing. It sounds like the kind of stuff you know about. She's probably got like
she's selling her VPN affiliate link right now. So
if
any of you need an affiliate link to a VPN and possible pipeline to then get cheap, I don't know, tallow. Go to her.
We're leaving money on the table, not doing that. But it's interesting, like to get on a serious point that Auspill raised before, like when we're talking about that guy and he gets on hard times and then he's working as a content slave for Arby. Like, I mean, this is part of the problem with the whole scene in Australia is you either have to be just not doing it for the money, like this is a hobby that like we get on stream and do this once a week. There's not enough room in the market for someone to do it for a living, right? So you can't really get the kind of audience of like a Nick Fuentes or something, which is like interesting for Hugo because that's like the key attack point of the left whenever his name gets mentioned now is like, well, you're rich and they target you for that, which like saying that like, oh, you're not allowed to be an activist if you're not poor. Like you can't, because I mean, if you were, you'd be in there asking for coffees every day, like poor old Topher Field, So do you notice that stuff? Like
Israel posting
online. Yeah, no Israel posting. Yeah, that's how we know you don't need the money because you actually post about Israel. But do you read that stuff? Like, do you you see a lot of that stuff about that they say about you personally from the left?
Yeah, but it's like it was such crazy mental gymnastics that I even think they're just like have largely ceased that and are just going straight for the whole Nazi thing because they would try and posit that and they'd say, well, he's doing it in the interest of like his property developing family because he wants to distract like mass consciousness away from blaming developers or the elite and instead blaming immigrants. When if you actually watch anything I put out, I'm naming developers, banks, universities as being the key driving forces behind immigration. And so I think they got very tired of making that contrived argument, and now they're just going for the he's like a Nazi or something.
Well, I think they realized that their first argument didn't make any logical sense, right? Like, oh, he's trying to shift blame onto migrants because property developers are sitting on properties and they're just having them sit there, and that's what's making the issue. The housing affordability issue explode. It's like, so hang on. So the son of a developer or grandson of a developer is campaigning against mass migration, which is their number one money spinner for getting people into properties. I think eventually they realized that it wasn't that logically didn't make sense.
Yeah, it wasn't sticking. But I think broadly though, none of it works for him, right? Like none of that stuff hits. It's impossible to attack someone on our side of politics now because so long as you're not working for a government agency or a childcare center or something, which self-respecting man would. I mean, like, what are they going to do? Like, I mean, the NSN dentist lost his job. I mean, he probably should have thought about that one. The guys who don't have their visas in order are going to get punished. But for the rest of us, I mean, there's not much they can do. Like, take away my crayfish license. Like, I would actually be super pissed if they did that. But
you can call us names, I guess. It doesn't really
you can call us names. I'm getting called a heap of names today in the chat. We had those left wingers get in here. That guy with the cross eyes, the one the chat were pointing out before. He thinks I'm the pedophile owner of the Noticer, but all 4 actual owners of the Noticer are in the chat right now, including the Noticer account itself. Drew Pavlu's in there. The rapist of Drew Pavlu.
Taron Ango.
He's in there. Swindon's in there. I think I saw Zinger in there before. So, sometimes I say that it's Zinger. I mean, Marshwood's in there. Yeah, I hate you, Marshwood. But yeah, he's probably an owner of the Noticer as well. As we're going to do the I Spartacus thing where everyone just stands up and says, yeah, I am the Noticer.
I see the guys appear in the chat, and I do wonder to myself, have I ever met some of these anons? I don't know. I assume so, but it's it's like a new familiar family of online schizos.
Taryn's now
How come
saying
I can
he's the real
see-
John McGowan.
I can see the noticer is typing like because it comes up on the actual stream, but I can't see it in like the comments section of the StreamYard. He's like, they're hiding shit. They're hiding her. Noticer is a girl. Yeah, they're hiding it.
They're hiding her.
Or
Yeah,
everything
wait. So
is-
Selena is actually the noticer, and
Yeah.
I am Selena. Oz Schizoid is actually John McGowan. Like it goes all like it's like a cascade of fakery, so that all our day jobs are protected. Yeah.
It all slowly links back to Selena.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. I mean,
Yeah.
earlier you mentioned like the Fuentes thing. It was pretty funny after the RV interaction. Like the amount of accounts who reached out, they're like, "Yeah, like I've never agreed with you on anything, but like RV, bro, like." They're just like they're doing that whole like alliance, we can all. And I was just reading these DMs. I'm like, wow, like just how royally Arby screwed up in just that interaction, even just allowing it to happen to begin with. I mean, it's just just such a bad decision. I almost feel for him.
I do too in a weird way, right? Like, he had a big crash out. He really he lost that conflict badly. On every metric, and I don't understand why, because he's a smart guy, why he wouldn't just sit back and go, okay, I'm going to do what he did with John Ruddick, right? Sit you down, jump you on the live stream, debate, the main issues that you want to talk about, give his points of view, and then let the best man win. And I guess the logical conclusion is he's probably aware that for a lot of his audience, they probably share similar views to you, which is that they think that nationalists should be welcome at a rally that's, meant to put Australia first, and they probably agree with you when it comes to what does Australia first look like. But if Avi or any of these guys are watching this, I would just say out there, you really should debate Auspill. Have him on your show.
Yeah,
hash out the ideas. Right? If what you believe in and the ideas that you're pursuing are the better ones, they will naturally win out over Auspill's, right? So why don't you just get him on the stream and see what happens?
Yeah, he's not going to do it. I mean, the other thing was, I saw that Ruddick thing. You go, man.
No, you go ahead. I just have to. I'll consolidate my thoughts on that quickly. I can make a better point. You go on, Rukshan.
The Ruddick thing was interesting because like he'll only do that stuff with Rukshan on air, right? So he's all kind of gang up on him. Like, I mean, I think Rukshan was there to like moderate it, but yeah, I mean, he can't debate very well. He doesn't make any serious points. Like he's one of these guys that comes out of that COVID streaming era, with nothing other than, oh, this thing happened, aren't you angry about it? Right. I mean, you see his posts day to day. I mean, I don't actually follow him, but I see his stuff retweeted in my feed, and like most of it is just still Victorian government slop. Like, oh, you won't believe what Jacinta Allen is doing. Like, there's no kind of new political content there. And I think that's why he struggles. I think that's why his audience is trash. Like, is he streaming now? He probably gets less than us. But yeah,
there's this kind of style like the Rebel News have where they just kind of chase the views around. It's very light on content. It's kind of sloppy and outragey. And they just chase. Yeah. If you do that, like, what do you really like? You don't develop any ideas intellectually. You don't really go anywhere. Like, you just
and eventually people
you'll
get
just like
sloppy.
That's what I think.
So far, at a certain point, you need to have an ideology that underpins the things that you're talking about and the direction that you want to go in. And I think a lot of people, I'm 36, so I'm old, right? I think a lot of people my age and above who for the last 10 years have been in the content space, what they don't realize is that younger generations are way more switched on than we give them credit for, and actually do want to understand what your underlying ideologies are and what you're going to do, because they feel like they've been abandoned. They feel like they've been screwed over. So, cartoons about Albo and different people at Parliament House, or just doing sort of gotcha, change my mind, slop content out on the street, it doesn't fly with them anymore, right? Like, one of the things when I first saw Hugo's content is I could see quite quickly that Hugo was basing his reels and his short videos off an ideological viewpoint that he'd thought about and considered. And I think that a lot of younger people see that as well. So anyway, it's a bit of a long rant, but
it's easy come, easy go as well. Like if people blow in on some outrage vid that you've probably edited to make it look worse than it was, then they're just going to blow away again, and you're going to find yourself like when you start talking about some other issue that they're not interested in it, and when you start trying to push views for a different country, then you suddenly don't have anyone behind you at all.
Yeah, and like the standard content that the sloppy lists were good at in the past was triggering lefties. It's like, I actually don't care about lefties getting triggered when I'm being ethnically replaced. I care about the fact
that content's boring. Like,
the
interesting stuff that Charlie Kirk
be strangers in their own fucking country if things don't get turned around.
All Charlie Kirk's best content wasn't triggering lefties. It was debating lefties and having them walk away going, "Oh yeah, I see your point." Right? Like that was the best thing that he did. And like after he died, when you looked at the clips that they were putting together, that was all the best content.
Well, I'll say as well, like triggering lefties is bad tactics. Like, why do you want to activate your enemies and G them up? That's the opposite of what you really want. Like, but people feel like it's a win if they upset people on the other side, and that's not actually a win, because what we need is to actually change politics, and having a lot of people who are opposed to you and excited about it is a bad start.
Which that's going to be the challenge, like kind of once we see where the cards lie with One Nation. I mean, that's kind of the post 2028 challenge, right? Is like that's going to be the first year where we find out for the first time, like, what does the reactionary electoral vote actually look like? How many people are going to turn out for a right-wing alternative, even a weaker one like One Nation, and kind of build it from there? And, like you see the data coming out now where they say it's just guys my age who are changing their vote. I mean, it's clear that that's where you got to do the work. You got to do the work on talking to young people who right now, I mean, like they ban Auspill's TikTok accounts, right? Like that's having the discussion in Australia around freedom of political communication is key. I mean, that's the value that the White Australia Party brings to the table, is they're forcing that conversation to happen. That what is the extent of freedom of political communication? We have what the High Court says, but not everyone is going to be able to take things to the High Court. At some point, we need the political class to defend it, and if they don't, then they're the problem. The managerial Democrats that run our country are the actual problem. So, we lose Brian?
But it's being surfaced that they are the problem. Brian, I think his thing crashed. Mine did earlier as well.
Oh yeah. Sorry, dude. We run this on.
I'm hotspotting from my phone, so I don't think I don't run it anything more like substantial than yourself. But in regards to Avi, like, he definitely rose to prominence in COVID and has all this goodwill from then. And I was actually out the other night at some like pub in the city, and this guy like beckons me over, and we talk, and he recognizes me specifically from the recent Helly Hansen thing, and he's like, "Oh, Avi bailed my dad out during COVID," and so I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, like WRV, I guess." But he was like, no, like, but after what he did to you, that was crazy, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I think Avi did build up this huge, like, cultural cash post, the pandemic stuff. And him and Monica and so many others have been trying to stay relevant and sort of like pivoted to a politic that has evolved out of COVID. Like you could say it did with me, like going from the lockdown to where I am now. There's some evolution. Their audience evolved on similar lines, and they're trying to, like, I guess, like, artificially, like, mimic that. And then when, like, exposed to the true position, like Avi was, they just, like, want to shut it down. as opposed to like trying to meaningfully engage with it. Like, which I said on my own stream is like what they do on the right. Like, look at someone like Stephen Miller is just playing the far right like perfectly. You have like guys who are posting edits of the certain 1945 figure, and then like saying they're Hebrew Hammer, Stephen Miller, like you know what I mean? Like in America, they're so much more screwed on. Like they know, okay, we should probably side with these guys because they're the wave that's coming now. Whereas here, he's just like reactionary to like a politic that moved under his feet with his audience from COVID to where it is now.
I think he's deeply compromised as well. Is I think part of the problem is that, you know, you can tell people who are authentic about their politics because they do change positions. And so when he's got politics that just never changed, that have not changed since COVID, and when underlying it is this position on a certain foreign government that's found itself in hot water over the last 2 years, at that point you just ask yourself, like, well, is this earnest or has this always been an op? Because I mean, in the world we live in now, which kind of like goes back to the social media ban, right? I mean, you see all these accounts. I mean, Drew Pavlu, was posting about this the other day. Like, they're all complaining, going, "Oh, my monetization's down. I'm not getting paid as much for my content." That's because your content's all the same, right? If you just go on every day and you keep doing the same post in so many words, if you keep talking to the same audience, platform's going to punish you. The successful people, like guys like in the US, like the big streamers, every episode is unique. They talk about something different every single time. Every bit of content is bespoke, and they shift things, they change their mind, they debate people, and they get really successful. Here in Australia, we have this like stagnant digital media ecosystem where it's like, I'm going to watch Joel Jamal, he's going to talk about trans rights and freedom of speech. I'm going to watch Avi, he's going to talk about Israel. I'm going to watch Topher, he's going to talk about like the age of consent or whatever he's like. It's the same thing every single time. And then these guys sit there begging for a cup of coffee because they can't make any money out of it and they can't grow their audience. Well, that's why. It's because you talk about the same stuff every day and the algorithm punishes you. And I think that's really what drives like the Avi fiasco. Like, he is desperate to get his COVID audience back, because we see it because we often stream at the same time. And even if you take out the $40 promo I put into this, he does half the numbers we do on X. Right, he does well on YouTube, but I mean, his YouTube audience is freaks. You see the comments on those videos; there's people in nut jobs. I mean, yeah, there's just not the only reason to do this in Australia. The only reason to make this content is for the politics, is to help our country. That's it. You're not going to become a streaming sensation off it. Yeah.
The chat just keeps making me laugh, bro. I just can't. Like, there's so many niche references within Auspill.
Oh yeah. That's why we do the show, dude. You've got to respond to it, man. That's the stream. Which one's that?
It's not even a niche reference, but it's like every Sky News show is like made for dementia.
Dementia. Yeah. I put that into your thread the other day. I said, like, if you wanted to debate a 4'11",
just do Shari Markson,
just don't do Shari Markson. I mean, they would probably, like, Freya Leach would have probably had you on. Like, that would have been fun. I mean, that's unfortunately they banned.
Bro, I was going to potentially, there was like nearly a debate in talks between like maybe myself, some others, and Purple Pingers, and then Purple Pingers shut it down because he's like, I don't want to debate like fascism or something, or it's like fascism is not to be debated, and it's like, bro, like take a page of like Hassan's book or something and like just do it for like the culture. Like, come on.
But I mean, I had that exact same discussion with Joel Davis's guys on Telegram, and I said that exact thing on Twitter. I said, I'm not going to go on Joel's stream and debate him on National Socialism because I think it's a redundant argument. But we'll have a great discussion around the White Australia Party and where that's going and where I think the problems are and what I think they're doing well and what's not going well. And those guys were totally chilled out. And I mean, except for Marshwood, who's in the chat, who I have beef with. But everyone else was like, cool, see you there. And then like he got arrested the next day. But like no one in our movement is so bad that you wouldn't debate them, even the Nazis, right? And, if a single guy watches a debate like that and goes, maybe John McGowan's right. Maybe National Socialism isn't cool. Like, well, isn't that a good thing? Like, if Purple Pingers does the same thing, isn't that good? Like, isn't that what these people want? Isn't that the whole point of debating? Like, running from the debate is how you end up with political violence, right? And this is the thing, is that's what the left want, right? We see it in everything they do. They're the first to jump to political violence, where our guys are the left, are the last to jump to political violence.
Yeah, the other night I was in the city. I recognized like a very famous like leftist on from TikTok, and it was me and like three guys who were all like aligned, and we just like spoke to this dude for like an hour, and it was like really chill. And then we were like shook hands and left. And then as we were leaving, we're like, could you imagine if it was like one of us and like four Antifa? It was like, you have this like really chill four dudes on a night out conversation, or it would have been like politically motivated terror, you know, it would have been like terrorism. It was reflecting on that, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, I haven't watched the whole thing,
it pertains to the mystification of the Holocaust and the kind of position that the right wing had in the zeitgeist as the far right, you know, ideas to a certain degree of rightness. That was just pure evil. And then if that's the framework you can work in, then you don't need to debate it. You just need to name it. So they're trying this with their kind of Nazi incantations with Fuentes, and it's not working anymore, because I think it's been long enough that all of that is demystified now. And plus, like, if something isn't mystified, then you do need to debate it. But, you know, like, if everyone agrees on a religious basis that it's wrong, you don't need to debate it.
But the big thing that's changed is, I mean, like, going back to, you know, Auspill, American Renaissance, right? Like, back in the day, like, if you go back to the late 1990s, early 2000s, right? If a leftist says Jared Taylor is a white supremacist, you know, where is Jared Taylor's content? Like, he's writing books, he's appearing and doing very dry speeches, right? It's very hard for someone who hasn't made up their mind to engage with that content. So when they see, you know, some leftist media person saying this about him, you go, oh, well, it must be true. And the left are still playing that game, but now the content is so easy to engage with. If someone calls Nick Fuentes a Nazi, every single person in the United States can sit at their computer and watch a 45-minute video and go, hey, this guy's not a Nazi. Like, I just listen to everything he said. He says the same thing my uncle says at the Thanksgiving table. This guy's not a Nazi. So wait, if they're lying about him, what else are they lying about? And that's like across the board. And that's why making content like easy listening politics is so important, because that way, if they call you a Nazi, you say, well, just go on my YouTube channel and you watch it. And just the fact that I have a YouTube channel might suggest I'm not a fucking Nazi, because if I was, they'd ban it, right? And that goes for everything. And this is why, man, you got to get on that TikTok thing and, you know, either get it back or get an answer from them, because this is what they do. Like, they use it to say, you know, you're too extreme because you got banned off a platform, when you can get banned off a platform for, you know, I get banned on here one day because I keep drinking and vaping during the streams. And I'm pretty sure it's against all the terms and conditions and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they won't be happy. Like, I'm just like totally emboldened to go crazy on the content now, specifically, with those IRL streams, with the YouTube. I don't know, because like the pushback, if it is from top, it's kind of exhilarating. It's like let's go. I already made like another TikTok account. We'll see if that survives. I mean, I'm gonna do the free speech unions like e-safety form. Try and reach out to some Americans. Maybe the State Department can like do something. I don't know.
I think we have a guy. We have a
e-safety. I'll kick it.
Yeah.
We do have a guy.
We do have a guy at the State Department. Yeah, we'll get him.
I've always wondered, like, how much can Australians allude to like US connections before like some sort of treason like bill or act can like start being activated?
Well,
like if I start saying I want e-safety, is that like treason?
Well, actually, you cut out right when you were saying that. So, I mean, I don't know whether that was your handlers at the State Department censoring it so you didn't say anything that would be a problem. But I do kind of know the answer to that, because, I mean, I had that whole submarine thing going a while ago, and it turns out they just drop it after a while once they realize it's not true. So yeah, we can allude to having state, an asset in state, which is what Bronze Age pervert used to do. Right? I think that's where I got the joke from, and then it turned out like we had a guy in the group chat who said he really was our the State Department connection. So yeah, I don't think it's like wise to actually do treason, but it's not treason if it's the US State Department.
Yeah, true. I mean, I suppose, yeah, but I just wonder, like, with any brewing like anti-AUKUS or anti-US sentiment from Labor or even, I guess, the Greens or whoever else, like, could you imagine they try and strike down one of us with like some treason, like some crazy archaic treason law, and just get me like quartered in Canberra?
I don't know if they do it, man. I mean, look, at the end of the day, though, like they are a greatest ally, and I mean, this is where I kind of my most left wing political view is like that sometimes they are shit, and maybe every 8 years they'll have a bad 4 years, but we got to be all in with the United States. It's the only option, right? I mean, thankfully now they're calming it down on the Israel thing, and maybe we won't have to make that Sophie's choice into the future where it's like, well, your US alliance comes with this caveat that you got to support, one of the world's worst countries. But yeah, I mean, I think as Australians, it's your patriotic duty to support the US alliance. And the people who denigrate it over the last 30 years have been literal fucking communists, right? If you go back to the Gough, I mean, you look at the kind of lionization of Gough Whitlam, right? A man who was clearly compromised at some level by the Communist Party. A guy who, if the CIA really got rid of Gough Whitlam, good, right? I'm on their side. I'm not on Gough Whitlam's side. And, they want to force you into this position where they say, oh, if you're a patriot, you'll support, you won't support the US with that degree of rigor. Bullshit. Right? I mean, the US is Western civilization. Australia is one of the last bastions of Western civilization. The UK has fallen. Canada might as well not exist. New Zealand is effectively a state of Australia. Like, when we talk about the West now, we are actually just talking about the US and Australia. That's it. So as far as I'm concerned, loyalty for, the underlying political values of people like us in both countries is completely interchangeable. Like, I don't see that there's a single conflict between the United States and Australia politically right now. Like, we are on the same page. And what's interesting is it's clear at the top strategic level, even Australian Labor see that too, right? When you had Richard Marles and Penny Wong today doing the stand-up on AUKUS, it's very clear that they, behind closed doors agree with that. But, so much now has become not so much political, but like electoral, right? So it's Tony Burke mugging for his Arab votes in his electorate. It's, God, what's that guy in the chat or knowing, like the member for Ride, Jordan something. It's these guys who are, doing it for the China. No, the other Jordan. It's guys who are doing it for the Chinese votes, right? And so the electoral politics and the strategic politics are now just completely separate. Because on the one hand, yeah, we need AUKUS. We need to be under the protective umbrella of the United States. And the United States needs us for, rare earth minerals and as a strategic trade partner. And it's only when you get out letterboxing in Tony Burke's electorate that you don't. So now we lost Enoch as well. Yeah. We have the shittiest connections.
One by one.
We really need to get a bunch of like Israel money or something and build ourselves a studio. We'll just do like a one-off
Marshall plan,
Israel
like fiber optic in Australia or something. But it's interesting because like you get that from the left and the right. Obviously it was very pertinent to me being in the States. Everyone's very anti-US, the influence, and I think really the cutoff point to make any meaningful impact to that was like the 70s or whatever. But I put out a tweet a while ago. I said, to the left and the right, it's disappointing that all these Americans on either side of the aisle can't actually articulate a defense policy to come in after the fact. Like the communists you mentioned, like anti-AUKUS and whatever, and at the same time they don't want to increase defense spending. If anything, they probably want to cut it. And it's it's just so suicidal. It's like, okay, let's just like be completely unprotected. And they either want China or India or someone to move in to our island, or they like have this hubris to believe that like their hammer and sickle allies who look less and less hammer and sickle every year will like leave us alone or something. Like,
yeah, like what's their strategy, right? Like so we don't defend ourselves, we don't invest any money in defense, and then we just have like an open border and a free trade policy with these guys, and we think everything will be fine. Like, how well has that worked out for China's neighbors? Like, how well has that worked out for Russia's neighbors? You know, I mean, and look at what's happening right now in the BRICS bloc between Russia, India, and China. Like, this is the new axis globally, and we've we've got to respond to it somehow. The only natural way to respond to it is through a strategic alliance with the US. That's it. No one can propose. I mean, there's spending like 7% GDP on defense and looking after ourselves. Like, there's that option. So what program are we going to cut, right? I mean, look, NDIS, maybe, like probably a few things.
NDIS.
Yeah, some fat we could trim. But I mean, who's going to hold the guns? You know, this is the huge problem that we have.
What if we get Annika Wells? Annika Wells can claim like an entire 6th generation aircraft program, maybe as like identification fees.
Yeah, and Annika Wells just starts doing like what was the like Lend-Lease program like in the US? But instead of like doing overseas trips, she just buys submarines and FA-18 Growlers and F-35s. Yeah, we could do that. But I mean, this is our ultimate problem in Australia. Is like, you know, say you got all the money, who's getting into the submarines, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's white guys. This is just the reality of.
What if we just like crowdfund it right now? What if we just crowdfund it in the stream? Like, how much you need for like a 6th generation? Or how much you need for hypersonics? Like local defense manufacturing hypersonics.
Well, this is the crazy thing about what Ukraine did. Like. Ukraine were crowdfunding for like bombs and drones at one point. Maybe we'll have to do the same thing. Yeah. What are the guys in the chat saying? BRICS would take us over. Use counts. That's a great name. Oh man, we got the cap.
Holy static.
What's that noise? Yeah. Lend-Lease, except it's women in polls spend less. Yeah. All right. Green Goblin keeps asking you about this actually Adu guy. What's that all about?
Just like some private school boy beef.
Right. Okay. I thought it was politics beef. Like, that sucks.
No. It actually is politics. It is politics. It is politics. But it is. It's involved in the private school communist versus private school like patriot. There's not really much to discuss there. He mainly just like called out the fact that like, my family is in property development, which, if I was a leftist, you wouldn't be able to leave that alone, would you? It's a huge thing. But yeah, like people have offered to debate him, like Shallow Chow even, and I think Jordan Knight was even willing to pay him for a bit to debate him if he face docs, because I think there's something where it's like, and no offense to the capybara, but you don't really want to debate someone who doesn't have the same skin in the game as yourself. And so there's not really. He has gone after their running, including Selena, and Jordan and everything, and Jordan offered to pay for him to face docs to debate, but he declined. There's not really much there because it's like. On my behalf, he just revealed that it's like my family's background. It's like, can't really,
which I mean doesn't really matter.
I can make a defense of like property developers, like,
I mean, this is the problem right now. I mean, property developers aren't the problem. Like, they're not really doing anything. I mean, Harry Triggerboff's the problem. Like, he's sitting on a bunch of empty apartments and he land banks. But I mean, how many more years is he going to be a problem for? I mean, the guy's got like 9 kids or something, right? So, he's kind of like Rupert Murdoch. He's like, he's a downstream issue that'll resolve itself just through entropy. I don't think.
I keep getting like, I get comments that like refer to like 30,000 homes or the land banking by that company. And it's like, how am I going to control like a publicly listed, a traded ASX 500 like developer? Like they think I've got the button, I can just press like
it's a huge lever
button.
Like,
it's like, what am I like, bro? Like,
he went after Selena too. He went after us because we're privileged. He really thought that was our own. Yeah, well, exactly. Right. I mean, who cares? Like, it's probably a good thing that these are the kinds of people we have in the movement promoting it, because you can't be bought. Right, you can't take the $7,000 in RV post bucks if you're already doing okay.
It indicates to me you're not a grifter, like so many fucking people in the movement.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't consider them a part of the movement. I mean, like what a lot of these guys are is just the alternative media, and this goes to my point about One Nation's election campaign. Right, is the most important thing is share of voice and getting the messages out there, not just the drama. Right, because right now, all we get out there is the drama. I mean, this is where Sewell is really smart, right? I mean, Sewell walks out, does a press conference, and basically leaves the media with no choice but to run his narrative comments. Like today, the thing he did when he left court, right? They had no choice but to run the comments he made about the judge and the fact that he released, what was it, the transsexual Sri Lankan terrorist? Like, there's no other choice, right? And that's the kind of stuff. I mean, unfortunately, it is just those guys on the far right who are doing it. But that's what literally everyone has to do, is make sure that those messages are getting out, not just, drama about, people criticizing where you went to school or how much money you have or what kind of shirt you wear. I mean, I think the Helly Hansen thing's hilarious because it's a pit for them to fall in where, like, is that all you're going to talk about? You're going to talk about the logo on the shirt. That's it. I mean, we all should do it.
I don't think I can ever like not wear Helly Hansen now. Like it's just kind of unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, being like my thing. Gotta commit to the bit like permanently. But yeah, that person, that it, whatever you like, I don't even know which direction it went from it to it. But that case was crazy because the police, the prosecution wanting a custodial sentence. And then one of the witnesses brought in was like its drive school instructor. It's like a drive school for LGBT and Aboriginal people, saying that like incarceration would be bad for its mental health. Like, even though it nearly blew up some veteran in the toilet stall at Land Forces and scouted the place out the day prior, 28 more explosives in the house. It's the whole story is like,
it's crazy, right? I mean, this should have been the biggest story in the country.
The same judge denied bail for Sewell, which on appeal he got granted bail. But like, it's just, bruh. Like, and you're right. It should be a bigger story.
It should have been the biggest story in the country.
It's insane.
And this is the joke. Like, so they go on Twitter or Facebook or wherever their cretinous followers are, and they start talking about the Noticer and saying, "Oh, it's the evil outlet for National Socialists," which it just isn't. I mean, it publishes all kinds of people. It sometimes even just publishes government press releases verbatim, just for the joke. Like, they did that the other day. But then punters are reading this stuff going, wait, what is the Noticer? And then going there, and then they're seeing these stories, right, which no one else is running. Like, if you did not read the Noticer, you had no idea
the Noticer needs
that case existed.
Like, in case you are actually the Noticer, John, we need to fix, someone needs to fix, the people want fixed the ads on Noticer, because the pop-ups, like the sidebar, the top bar, like it's gone crazy. We need to like professionalize. I'm trying to, if you're trying to show anyone over the age of like 40 the website, over the age of 50, they don't know how to navigate these sort of ads that get in the way unless they have ad block. It's might actually be locking people out. It's like a soft IQ test. To even
just need one tasteful Helly Hansen ad. That'll make your revenue for you.
Maybe that's what we need to do, is like crowdfund the Noticer to be able to move its servers to who's that Australian company, the guys, the Bitcoin guys who have the online casino, and they run Kick, the streaming app. Craven. Yeah. I can never pronounce it because it's one of those countries you never actually have to go to. That one near the Netherlands, it's like a tax haven, Curacao. That's where they have that company based. Like,
isn't Curacao like a potentially a Dutch former colony in the Caribbean?
Is it in the Caribbean? Yeah. No, that's where it is. Anyway, so those guys couldn't run their business in Australia because it's an online casino, so they based it over there. We need to call those guys and say, maybe they could buy the noticer and host it so that it doesn't need all the shitty ads. I'll put that on the meeting of the next noticer board meeting. We'll discuss it.
Yeah, okay, if you could, because the ads are just I want to like link more people, even like in professional circles, but it's like the only thing that detracts is the ads. Just the integration needs to be better. I think there's a lot of agreement in the chat here. It's just like you want to link it to so and so, but it's like the ads, and the ads like at the moment it's like some AI generated like ad for like some like insert to like bend like your feet back to straight, which is like what the ads they deliver to like very old people whose feet are all bent out of shape or so. I don't even know. It's just like I'm trying to like read this like left-wing terrorist exonerated on charges of bombing like a military convention. There's like AI like getting in the way. It's unreal.
We were saying it, but that's the best thing about the noticer. They have the best headlines. Like the one we talked about last week on the show was the satanic pedophile ring that got busted. Right, that was crazy. Like the four guys, and one of them turned out to be an indigenous Antifa guy who ran his own blog. And the headline was like, satanic pedophile ring busted. He was also a left-wing homosexual Aboriginal. You're like, no one else is going to run that kind of content. No one else. Oh, he was a journalist too, which is like probably the worst part.
The ABC.
In order of worstness, it probably should have said he was a satanic pedophile journalist, left-wing, indigenous homosexual. Or homosexual.
Like you always wonder if some people would be seeing that like on the Noticer Instagram or Noticer X, like they read their headline, those graphics they do, and just assuming it's like satire, like Babylon Bee or something.
I think people would have actually assumed it was satire, but no, that was 100% real. That story went off in the US too. There were like so many, and like some of them are pretty sloppy accounts, but like guys like adjacent to QAnon picking that up. Oh, look at this, it's real. Like, and they sounded surprised. Like these guys like talk about this stuff every single day, and they were shocked to see that it actually happened. And of all places, it happened in Australia. Like, but what's interesting is just no more news about that at all. Like nothing else. Right? Like this stuff just happens and then it disappears. Right? I mean that thing with the land forces.
Yeah, what did we get?
I don't even remember hearing about that when it happened. Like I can't remember a story.
I don't either.
Like,
all I remember was like Jasmine Duff. I remember seeing like Jasmine Duff's arrest or something because it came up on like these lefty accounts I follow, and she was arrested and then again like avoided jail time. She like assaulted, I think, one of the attendees, one of the dudes actually trying to attend the conference, and I thought that was like pretty crazy. She got off for that. Anyways, someone bombs the thing and doesn't get jail.
Yeah.
Like, bro.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, and like just like our reputation with all these businesses, the government spends like billions of dollars to bring out here, and they're constantly saying, "Oh, this is the future of Australian industry." I mean, you would surely throw the book at someone like that. Like, yeah, crazy, man, crazy. I don't know.
I wonder if I can like if you find out, if we go to land forces, find out who was there. Surely some delegate of some like the US or something was there. And the posting campaign can be like General so and so or Admiral so and so from the US Navy was there, and someone tried to blow him up, and he didn't get jail time, and then get Elon to go wow, is this true or something?
You could get Hegseth on that, like get Trump on that. Imagine if Pete Hegseth put a statement out and saying to like top brass in the US, you can't go to conferences in Australia anymore because they've got Antifa terrorists trying to blow us up, and then they let them out on bail. Like this person's walking around. That's a crazy thing. Like this person's like walking around. They can do whatever they want. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. We should get on that. We should just start like atting Elon and Hegseth.
Land forces.
I got the holy grail of
was it this year?
Posting Elon posting the word interesting next to my post. Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what we need. We need an Auspill post with just wow. I did not know that.
But he said like remigration is inevitable this week. Or
yeah,
something,
he did.
Something
he said
like
that.
It's like it's gone even further than before. So
yeah,
I guess we're winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting there. I mean, the problem is, well, actually, part of the problem for us in Australia is as the debate gets in the US gets more pointed, like it's gone now from, deportations of illegal migrants to remigration. It's getting further away from us. So now so many kind of centrists in Australia can look at it and say, oh, that's just crazy American stuff, right? So it benefits us, actually, for them to not get too aggressive on the remigration rhetoric. I mean, there's an argument that maybe it makes us look moderate if we then say, well, we just want to close the borders and, aggressively target illegals and redefine permanent visas.
Well, there's a legitimate argument to be made. We don't want things to get that bad, right? Like,
yeah, true.
And that is actually kind of becomes the middle way, because it's like, well, we know there's a backlash if you don't listen to us now. So,
yeah, look at that post by Selena. That's why we got to get Selena on the show. She sounds so much smarter than us. Metapolitical victories are meaningless without cultural and institutional backing. Sadly, I occasionally sound like that in my Substack. I never sound like that in real life. Especially not on the stream.
Malcolm Roberts said remigration in a speech.
Oh, did he?
But again, it doesn't really mean. Well, they're all saying it, but they're all saying remigration and then ... of like criminals or of like visa overstayers, like, which is already the norm. Like, it's not really transgressive.
And we don't have an illegal problem in Australia because we're hard to get to, right? And I mean, what? One of the reasons
UK, they're talking about like denying citizenship for the children of migrants who are found to have like fraud. Like they're like ad hoc denying like the citizenship of migrants. Like, it's so much more radical in that sphere. And then meanwhile,
they've got to do something.
Remigrate the people who bomb. Yeah,
bomb land forces conferences. I mean, one of my favorite stories the last week is because Enoch and I were talking about this because sometimes we get a bit crazy at the end of the show. We were talking about Bonnie Blue, and because I was like scratching my head because I didn't know who Bonnie Blue was, and I looked her up, and now my soul has been damaged. Well, the big news of the week was that she got arrested in Indonesia.
My God.
She's facing 15 years jail in Indonesia, right? And in Bali, she got picked up in Bali, which has been really funny because
we
this is what happens if we talk about.
We didn't control our women, and then they just keep they keep taking it too far.
But it's another crazy example. I pointed this out in a thread, an American's thread today, and said like Australians don't realize the extent to which Indonesia is like the best friend a country could ever have. Like, Indonesia fights communism on our behalf in the late 1970s and stops it before it gets to us. Indonesia kills all of the Al-Qaeda franchises in the region before they get to us. And now Indonesia is stopping the grossest degenerate porn stars before they can get their filthy mitts on our own children who are at schoolies in Bali, because that's what she was there to do. I didn't like when you and I talked about it last week. I had no idea how bad this woman really was, and I since looked at it. And so she's doing these videos, like saying, "I'm at schoolies in Bali looking for barely legal guys." I'm like, what the hell, man? Good. Prabowo picked her up. He's charged her. She's facing 15 years. Based Indonesia again. And like the thing I love most about Indonesia is when you look at the stats. They are right next door to us. They can swim here, and none of them move here. Like, that's how patriotic Indonesians are. Like, they love their country so much they would rather sit in villages where the average income is like $20 a year than migrate to Australia as an economic migrant. They love Indonesia that much. So, I'm a huge Indonesia fan. Maybe Prabowo.
Still can't believe we gave that part. Was it us who made the decision to give them part of Papua New Guinea, or was that some other?
No, we did. Well, originally, the original Australian foreign policy objective was to allow Suharto to maintain the campaign against communists. Gough Whitlam got in, changed the position. It rolls on and rolls on and rolls on. We then gave them that independence in the 1990s. Now it's run by communists. Turned out we were being kind of two-faced, and we were just trying to get our hands on their gas facilities.
You're talking about Timor. Right,
Timor.
I think Auspill's talking about West Papua, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Wait, West Papua is no. Well, they've still got West Papua.
That's the
Yeah,
other
well,
half of the Papua New Guinea island.
Yeah, no, they've still got that. Yeah, and they should keep that. Like we.
Did we ever have
Why
the
would
whole
we
of
want
like
that?
we used to be like administrative territory? Did we ever have the whole?
No, I'm pretty sure.
No,
Indonesia
it was
via
Dutch.
the Netherlands. Yeah, the Dutch had
Yeah.
half and we had half. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then we decided we didn't want it.
And we told them that we wouldn't interfere when the newly created Indonesian regime wanted to move in, but that was yeah. It's so hard to actually control that area.
Yeah,
like
it's
one of the things they
Japanese
do is
couldn't even invade it.
they spend millions of dollars getting light planes to just fly out into the middle of nowhere and deliver like rice and like basic goods just to keep the villages sweet. And it's like, but there's like no roads. There's like nothing. There's only like a few mines that have value, and then all the rest of it, they're just pacifying the population so they don't join militias against them.
Well, we should just let the Indonesians
looks
have
like
it
a
on the
nightmare.
condition. The Indonesians have to put surface-to-air missiles on it and shoot down any more Bonnie Blues that come near Australia. That's what I wanted to do. Right? The more I read about this stuff, the less I like it. I don't like that something like that exists. But yeah. Now, guys, it's 10 o'clock.
There's a
It's
decent
past
amount
our...
Cost
No, you go, man. You go, man. Keep going.
Oh, I was just saying there is a reasonable amount of Indonesia. There's 110,000 Indonesian-born people living in Australia, which are more than it's a 50%, 150%, growing from 75,000 since 2013. So there's like a decent, there's a trickling amount coming. But I think you're right in saying that they're so close. There could be so many more after this swam across
exactly
Australia.
right. I mean, how many of a certain like Talmudic persuasion are there in Australia? Like, I mean, 100,000 is nothing, right? Like, yeah, that's a tiny population, and considering how many of them there are, like I think there's like 400 million of them or something. Anyway, we did actually have a massive problem at one point.
And also, Auspill, like,
imagine how many more.
You toss that number out. But think about the food.
Yeah.
Think about the traditional dress. Think about the dancing.
Yeah,
I mean, the dancing, especially.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met an Indonesian
imagine
guy.
how many would be here if we didn't sink their boats.
Yeah. Well, but then they stopped.
If we,
Like
if we
one of the
didn't sink
reasons
their
they
boats.
stopped was their own government stopped it. You know, because one of the cool things about Indonesia is they just hate jihadists, which they're a Muslim majority country, but they have this huge problem with it. And so, you know, anything that was funding terrorism, they had massive beef with. It's a pity they didn't just kill those Bali bombers, but you know, they probably have their reasons.
I think that's because of the Aceh province. I think that's driven by Islamism. So that means that the central government is very wary of it.
Yeah. I'm going to seek out an Indonesian friend. There must be one in Hobart. There's got to be like one Indonesian guy in Hobart. I'm going to go have a beer with him. Eat. What's their dish? There is like some food from Indonesia, isn't there? I can't.
They've got like, it's like a fried rice and chicken. It's a big
Is it
one.
nasi goreng? I thought that was
Nasi
Singaporean.
goreng. No, nasi goreng. I think is classic Indonesia.
Nazi goreng, David Dean.
No, not Nazi. Oh my god.
Oh Jesus.
It's where you put the chicken drumsticks. You get 4 of them. You put them in a particular configuration.
Everyone's just bombarding the chat with Nazi goreng, except Red River, who's getting me goreng in there, which I'm pretty sure is wrong.
No, I mean if it's goreng, then it's got that's the language.
This is
That'll
going to
be
really confuse. It's going to
Nazi
confuse
goreng.
all the leftists who came into this stream to stalk it, and now they're like, "Wow, this is weird." All these white nationalists really like Indonesians.
Well, then we're also doing the food meme. Like,
yeah, we're doing the food meme, which you can do when their numbers are that low.
Sure,
Bro, Selena knows everything, dude.
I know, right? Selena must just be insufferable at school. Isn't she like she's studying something hard too? Selena, aren't you like doing science or something?
Psychology.
Like, wow, that's bad.
No, I'm kidding. I actually don't know.
Well, we want to get Selena on the show. We're also trying to get Jordan Knight on the show. So,
because good luck. Don't you think isn't he like undercover now?
I think it's because of where he works. But I mean, like our show, I think we got a good rep, right? Like we're not extremists. We talk to everyone. We're nice guys. I think if you were gonna come on a show, it could be ours. And the chat will be angry. They're gonna be mad at him and say, "Where did you go? Why did you sell us out?" But I mean, I don't think he did sell anyone out. Like I don't think he did anything bad. I think he just wanted a job, which goes to that point about people in the movement need jobs or they need money. You can't, if you're going to do it for free, you got to be already financially independent, or unfortunately, you can't do it. So, because otherwise, you're just going to end up being a grifter, begging everyone for coffee and selling fucking EMF devices like Monica Schmidt. So, I don't think he's done anything wrong, and I would like to get him on to talk about his thoughts on where things are going, because, like Brian said, he has had, like you as well, he's had a really big role in from where we were this time last year to where we were today, where we are today, as a communal right wing in Australia. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, this has moved faster here than it moved in the US in 2015.
It was like it's like Jordan Knight and Soulbra like created like just me. Yeah. Like Migration Watch hit me. Migration Watch hit me like a train, dude. I was like, "Yo!"
One-shotted by Migration Watch. You're just like scrolling through Twitter. You're just saying, sunning your balls, icing your balls, send them back.
I didn't even have X. I didn't have X until like last year, like halfway through last year. I saw here Jordan Knight, Migration Watch on like TikTok, bro. Like I got one-shotted so hard via the Migration Watch. I'm like a product. I shouldn't even say that because now I'm attaching myself to him. But we should do like a man. That's a great idea for some content to do over Christmas. Is we should do like an iDubbbz style documentary on the new Australian right, where we can go to Hugo's house. He can do the Sam Hyde meme. We'll go track down Jordan, interview him in a cave or something wherever he's hiding. Selena can take us bushwalking. Like we could do that. That'd be fun. Yeah, do an iDubbbz style documentary. It's like the Migration Watch. He was just like, there are now 100,000. Like, it was just so perfect. It just got me.
I know the content was amazing. Yeah, it's almost better. It's almost better that he stopped doing it in a way because I guess like if you had kept on doing it, you got to keep like coming up with new stuff. Like, I mean, the stuff's still there. Like, I still see the videos sometimes.
The fancy graphics, like Alba like hanging his head in shame, and it's like 100,000 or whatever it was called. Like it had an effect. It was good because like for me it was like quite professionally put together. I'm like, oh okay, this is a space that like we're all in now. And then I got into it, and then they actually weren't that. It wasn't actually that professional. Like, well, as in like I looked at that. And I'm like, oh, this is the future of like Auspill. Surely Labor and Libs are moving. It just looks so well put together. And then you find out it's like one dude running it.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what happened to me. Like, because I was in a kind of transitional period at the time. I was wrapping up working for Lehrman, and I realized like I'm probably not going to work a wage cuck job ever again. So I'm going to be a bit more open about my views online. And I saw what he was doing, and I messaged him because I wanted to know who was funding him. I was like messaging him to find out who Migration Watch was so I could get a job. And he's like, nah, man, it's just me. Like I went and had a beer with him, and I was like, holy shit, man, you did this on your own? Like I just couldn't believe it. And it's funny because like, him, me, and about 3 or 4 other guys probably started a group chat maybe like 18 months ago. And, if you see like from like then more started popping up, it was crazy how much like, there were so many guys who were already there, but who weren't networked. And I think because Jordan's content got so big, it was the thing that brought so many people together. And like, even if his like ideology does get away from the rest of us a little bit, it doesn't change the fact how important that was. And plus, I mean, he's viable electorally, right? Like Jordan could show up tomorrow and run for One Nation, and every single one of us would vote for him. Like, no matter what you think about where he stands or why he, left social media, like there's no one more electorally viable on the right in Australia than him. Like he'd be better than Andrew Hastie, So, we want to get Jordan on.
Yeah. Bro, he'd get the girl vote as well on looks alone. It'd just be like this mog, like the entire scene.
Yeah, we need more of that. We definitely need more of that.
Who's that guy in France? Jordan Bardella. Is it Jordan Bardella, the French dude? He's like 32, 30.
Oh, I know the guy.
Bardella,
Yeah. I think
I'm hearing that Jordan is an important part of the formula.
Yeah.
Jordan Bardella, bro. Jordan Barrett, Jordan Knight, Jordan Bardella.
Yeah. It's a bunch of Jordans.
It's Jordan Bardella. He's the French far right dude. It's like popping off, and people attribute it to his like him being 1.8 meters tall and 30.
You got to be tall,
politics.
man. Like you got to be tall. That's.
I think he might be the same height as Jordan Knight. This would be crazy. Wait, is it
Jordan's like Jordan's got to be 6'2", at least 6'2". Yeah. I don't know how.
I think
how
he
tall
could be taller.
Yeah.
This is the new Auspill direction. Yeah, think about that. Jordan Vanderlam, Jordan Knight, Jonathan Bowden. Like there's the J. It's the J's.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crucial.
Jordan the Country, very, very popular.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Who else is there? I mean, who do you reckon we should get on the show? Who else would be good? Like,
we've crossed the threshold into the meta discussion.
Well, we didn't do it. We always do it in the end. It's part of the show's format. Yeah.
I think we're interested to hear from nobody's take. Nobody's take was in the chat. I think he was talking about himself launching a think tank or something at one point. It'd be worth speaking to him maybe off stream.
Oh,
so get him on if he would be down to do it.
Yeah. We got to get we need more serious guys doing serious things. Now it is 10 o'clock and we always wrap the stream up. Well, it's 10:20 and we always wrap the stream up. So we got to run, man. Thank you for coming on the Stream of Consciousness. Thank you to the guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Sorry for
keeping it conscious. Nah, dude, you had a valid excuse. The TikTok thing sucks. And we will all be praying to the social media gods for you to get it resolved. Thanks for coming on the show, man. It was cool. Thank you to Brian we'll say thanks to him offline. Now, just remember when you leave, you got to leave the window open so the whole thing can download. And see you guys.
I'm just going to plug I'm going to plug our Substacks and remind people to like and subscribe everything. I've got a Substack now. My first article's out. It's about immigration. Have a read.
Oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you did it on immigration.
Yeah, I went there. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See ya. Enoch's got a show.